Today's show is brought to you by Lovable. Here we go.
Looks like Farouche is almost getting it done on the board. Should still be a draw. He's losing now suddenly.
He's throwing a thorn into the white side, holding on here for dear life. The nerves are kicking in.
He's playing with Ghost, afraid to commit.
Did he lose on time?
The clock is his worst enemy right now. Oh, look at this. He's trapped his own king in the corner. The black rook is hit as well.
Whoa, is this a blunder?
Checkmate is coming.
Welcome everyone. We may be approaching Christmas, but we're doing the only thing that we should be doing on December 23rd. We are going to follow Title Tuesday, and I got the most amazing panel today. David Howell, Aryan, Tari, Askild, Bryn, all here to have a little bit more of a relaxed Christmas feeling today, David.
Exactly. I mean, Askild's brought the sweater. I've tried to do my best to pretend I'm Norwegian, and yeah, we're just gonna have a fun time, nice chilled time before we celebrate properly tomorrow.
But to everyone who's watching from home, it's going to be a more of a watch party type feel today. We're going to sit back, try to enjoy as many of these games as possible. And Aryan, what are you expecting from this Title Tuesday? You think a lot of the players are going to be joining in before the World Rapid and Blitz?
Yeah, I'm curious how many players are already in Doha playing from there. Like chess players would like to go a few days before such an important event, getting used to the new time zone. But yeah, I expect exciting games as usual. Looking forward to follow the event.
But this new 5+0 format, it's a good way to just kind of get pace into your body again, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're playing the Rapid first, so it can be a bit confusing to play the Blitz here first. But it's a good way to warm up.
Well, let's take a look at what is the split standing so far. Listen, this is game week 4. We're now in what is called the winter split, and Magnus Carlsen, he took yet another victory last week. That means that he passed Sam Sevian. So he's only played 2 out of the 3 events, and he's won both of them. So nothing is new in the world of chess right now. Askild, are you surprised by this?
No, not really. I mean, he's such a fantastic Blitz player and probably the best in the world still. And it's great for me to see that he has so much motivation. And I talked to him last week. He was looking forward to the World Rapid and Blitz. And yeah, I think he's in great shape these days.
And the World Rapid and Blitz, it is what is on the mind of most chess players going into this time of year, isn't it?
It's also everyone's favorite tournament to watch. Definitely the highlight of the year in some way. Like, especially for Norwegian people, I think like the statistics were showing that 20% of the Norwegian population likes to sit at home and follow the tournament over Christmas, so it's really, really popular, and I can't wait for it.
Right now, we haven't had that many signups yet, as you can see, to this Title Tuesday. But who are we expecting today? What do you think?
I think everyone, just everyone. Every title player in the world.
Yeah, but we're getting there, aren't we, though? I mean, I know you're joking, David, but seriously, I mean, we are getting to the point where most of the top players are actually joining in.
That's right. I mean, Magnus, Hikaru, I would say 90% of these tournaments, they're playing. Like, unless there's force majeure, unless there's something else stopping them, they are here every week. And we see Alireza, we see Nepomniachtchi, we see MVL, we see so many youngsters as well.
Problem is that right now we don't see it because we do have a problem with the L bar. It should have been a whole lot more names next to us, but hopefully that's going to show up pretty soon. But what we can do is we can take a look at something else, because right now we have a lot of players in Doha, but there's still players playing this tournament from all over the world. And we have a map to kind of illustrate where players are at the moment. With the Alien, the Bulgarian streamer, he is here in the Take studio, got to be doing the stream today. But as we can see, we have Alireza Firouzja, we have Hans Niemann, we have Magnus Carlsen, all present in Doha at the moment. We're thinking that maybe we're going to have an older companion. It's 79 years old from Brazil in Shemin. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? He's the oldest player to play Title Tuesday here, Aryan.
Yeah, it's cool to see at that age that he's still competing. I was just in Argentina actually, and it was very funny for me because I was playing a Askild tournament there, and then I looked up, and suddenly Oscar Pano was standing there. You probably don't know that name, Sverre, but Oscar Pano is a legend in the chess world. He's 90 years old, but he used to play with Fischer back in the days. I think he was like top 12 in the world at his best. But
Spanish, right?
he's from Argentina.
Oh, okay.
He's
cool.
from Argentina, but yeah, it was just very pleasant. I felt inspired looking up and seeing a 90-year-old coming to the tournament venue and following the games.
I mean, the contrast becomes so stark when we see the Indian Mani, or we see here from France Protopopescu, who are 9 years old playing in title Tuesday. When did you first get your title, David?
I think my first title was FM around the age of 11. So a long, long time ago, lifetime ago. I can only hope that these youngsters keep the joy of chess, and I can only hope the rest of us can keep playing until we are 79, 80, 90, beyond.
I did mention that Witty Alien is in the Take studio today. He has been streaming for quite some time already. He is someone who, for those who don't know him, he plays extremely aggressive. He has all these gambits that are both entertaining and fun to watch, but they're pretty effective as well, aren't they?
They really are. He's beaten me with the Martian Gambit. The first time I'd ever even heard of that opening, and it was like a hurricane just swept me away. But no, it's nice to see. He's very passionate about chess. He's kind of blown up this year. He's been leading that joy of the sacrificial attack.
Let's get to know Witty Alien a little bit better.
Yeah, I never ever imagined in my life I would be in the Take studio because I watch it online all the time. And I see David, I see Kaya, and I see Magnus, and now I'm here, it's a dream come true. I'm known as Witty Alien, I do a lot of content, but mainly I'm known for, I'm a FIDE content master, I'm 2100 FIDE. I'm known for playing crazy gambits and for inventing crazy gambits. I invented 2 gambits, so I'm just a gambit guy who plays aggressive chess, sacrifices a lot, and most of the time beats his chess when it makes a brilliant. Oh, it's open, okay. This is my mouse. This is where I stream for 2 days. This is my 2 monitors. This is the camera, the best camera I've ever seen in my life. This is like the best camera ever. This is Dave Cave. Yeah. I love this. The gambit that shocked the chess world. This is the first time somebody ever make a video about Alien Gambit. This is how it starts.
Aliens come to Earth. What opening do you play?
The Alien Gambit, wow! You put the pony, I call the knight pony. And after h6, that's the most popular move, then you go Alien Gambit! And it's very important to scream it, otherwise it won't work. I want to bring back romantic area to chess because everybody's so positional. I think chess needs to be entertaining because there's Fortnite, there's Netflix, there's so much entertainment in the 21st century that chess needs to be entertaining and aesthetic. I like the Tau style, Machio Tau style. You sacrifice some material and then you can checkmate with brilliant sacrifices. Makes me really happy. But I think we made the brilliant here. Yes, we got the brilliant. My longest live stream has been 30 hours of constant chess, and we made 150 brilliants.
I'm quitting. It's just my health. I just messed up. Sorry, guys.
Are
you back now?
I'm back, yeah. Because I was just burned out. I had migraines. I still have them actually. And I was just like, you see how many games I've played, and I just went crazy.
What a game, guys. The Martian set is super duper weak. Fit me.
Do you want to see how many games I've played? That's a lot of games. Brilliant.
And I mean, he is highly entertaining. I've been watching him all day, guys, and I must admit, I've kind of fallen in love with the whole Alien Gambit. It's the destroyer of the Kadokan. It is entertaining.
It really is, and I did witness him throw a mouse earlier, so I'm hoping
in the Dave Cave.
In the Dave Cave, how could he? My mouse.
Wow.
I just hope he can still make moves, but it's been entertaining hearing the kind of the joy coming from that room.
I'm just going to ask you quickly, like, what kind of score would you give him if you had a player card? Just something on the top of your mind right now.
Ooh, probably in the 70s. He's dangerous. He can beat someone higher rated, but maybe the consistency. I mean, it's inherent to such a kind of kind of gambling type of style, I should say. Yeah, I think he can win a lot of games, but also lose a few. And it's very much about getting on that streak.
Well, who is on the player cards this Christmas edition?
Exactly. Let's dig in. 3 players that we're going to be watching with a lot of curiosity this week.
With the Christmas hat!
Magnus Carlsen, he's in the festive spirit. He's at 98. He's the reigning Title Tuesday winner after last week. And we'll see how he gets on. Next up, we're hoping that Anish Giri plays just in preparation for some big events to come. Anish did play a couple of times recently in Title Tuesday, shaking off the cobwebs there, joining us. We're hoping he plays again. And last but not least, we have... I need to remember. It is Hans Niemann in Hans Snowman, maybe I should call him, in Festive Spirit 2. He will be playing in Qatar, trying to win the World Rapid, the World Blitz, trying to make a mark there. And yeah, he's another one. He has won an event in the Autumn Split, but yet to join in the last few weeks. We're hoping he does play today.
Who looks better with the hat?
Ooh, I would say Giri. Yeah.
Aryan, who do you think? Who wore it better?
I'd say Hans.
I like that. I mean, we're talking about how this is kind of a pre-tournament for what is the World Rapid and Blitz. A lot of the players are probably in Doha already. What's your take for Doha? What do you feel about it right now, Aryan? Who do you feel are the best situated players?
I mean, it's impossible to not say Magnus as the favorite. I mean, he has a good track record. Well, last year he didn't perform well in the Rapid, but it was also the jeans scandal, so there was so much to it, but he won the Blitz. But historically, he's the player who has won the most championships, so he's the favorite. But besides that, we should definitely keep an eye for Sindarov, who's been having an amazing year. Won the World Cup, did so well in the freestyle. And I think Aryan in general is someone I always look out for in Rapid and Blitz. I have a lot of respect for his play, so I think he can make it to top 3.
Well, David, you sat down with Magnus to ask him what he thought about who is going to be the biggest trouble or maybe the biggest favorites in the World Rapid and Blitz in Doha.
I have no idea, especially now that Hikaru and Alireza are not playing. I honestly think it's just a crapshoot.
Okay.
Except for myself, of course. But even for myself, like my track record is much better in Blitz. You get a lot more chances to show your strength there, especially because there are more rounds.
And out of the young generation, you mentioned it's a bit more random, but if you could name 1 or 2 who might have a breakthrough result, who do you think it could be?
It's hard not to mention Sindarov after his performances recently, and it sounds like a long shot, but I also think that Gukesh could have a good event. I really don't know. Dubov, maybe. I don't even know if he's playing. He has a good track record there. Maybe Nihal could surprise this time. Who knows?
No co-champions this year, right?
Probably not.
And will you be wearing jeans in the event?
At some point, for sure.
I feel like you get away with some questions that other wouldn't, David.
I had to ask, right? And now we know he's promised to wear jeans, and yeah, he was in a good.
And no co-champions. I guess that was actually an edgier question to me than the jeans were.
Yeah, I mean, I still have mixed feelings about last year and Nepomniachtchi, Magnus, what happened, but yeah, at least we know that's not going to be an issue this time.
What do you think about the names that were mentioned here? Are there any others that you guys would like to bring into the mix of things?
I mean, I would say there were no shocks, but I would be very surprised if Gukesh finishes top 5 here. I generally.
But he said that himself.
Gukesh
said it was a
much,
crazy pick.
much stronger in classical still. Although he did have a very good rapid event in this summer in Zagreb. I think that surprised many people, but he had a very nice winning streak there. So he's been catching up. But yeah, of the Indians, I would say Krogh and Aryan are much more likely to finish in the top than Gukesh for now.
But especially on the Blitz side of things, he also mentioned another Indian, Nihal Sarian, and that would be a cool pick. He's an outgoing, social, fun character.
Yeah, for sure, and also a very strong Blitz player. But one other player I would like to mention is Vincent Keimer. I think especially for the Rapid, He's been in great shape all year, and he's already beating the best players in the world with ease at times. And what I like about Keimer and Sindarov, Keimer might have some respect for Magnus, but playing the other top players, he doesn't show any fear. And the same with Sindarov. He's fearless, I would say. And it's very refreshing to see young players just going at it and beating the best players in the world.
But I guess it also goes to show, I mean, the evolution of chess right now, David, how in the past we differentiated so much between the classical players and the rapid players. But now it's starting to get a little bit smoother in that sense as we're going into the Kleimanov against Magnus game. It does look like Gukesh getting better, Keimer getting better. We had Caruana transforming him game for a while. It's good chess players are good chess players.
Exactly, and the cream always rises to the top. These are long events, the World Rapid and Blitz, just like Title Tuesday, many rounds. So often the best overall players end up rising to the top. In the meantime, Title Tuesday, game week 4 here. The winner split has kicked off. Magnus opens with d4. It's a King's Indian defense from his very young-looking opponent. And White's gained a bit of space in the center. Black now trying to block it up. What do we make of this? It looks like, okay, Magnus has caught the Black Knight on the edge of the board. Looks like a successful opening for him.
Yeah, it looks like the last 3 moves really went White's way there. Getting b4 is something White would really want to do, and like Black can't take the pawn because of the pin. The rook was hanging in the end there, and now unfortunately for Black, the knight on a6 is awkwardly placed. Magnus is making logical moves, improving his position. Now I think I was just gonna say he's gonna save his bishop to f1, but his young opponent is playing very fast, which is a good strategy. So I think he's doing quite well. Like, his strategy is good so far, but the position should be better for White.
Big moment. Does he have to go back? If he does, then Black loses a bit of momentum. And yeah, he looks like he's looking for sacrifices. He perks up, and there we go. He takes a pawn in the center, but that's high risk. And he's given up his knight. He's now going to take Magnus's knight. We're going to see a flurry of exchanges. And
yeah, but Black is a pawn up here, but positionally he's busted. Yeah. So for the viewers, it looks like Black is just pawn up in an endgame, but Magnus's knight on e4 is super strong, and all White's pieces are better than Black's pieces. So this is like a really nice textbook example of like your piece is basically dominating your opponent's pieces. And look at the knight on a6. This is Magnus's dream.
Ooh, yeah, he's getting ready to trap that piece. At least kick it back to the back rank, maybe even continue chasing it. Very good judgment here from Magnus to go into this, to lose a pawn. That's why Kleimanov kind of sat up in his chair. He was like, wait, I'm about to be a pawn up against the world #1.
Yeah, did you see that reaction? I was noticing that.
I mean, I thought it too. I thought, oh wow, Magnus has blundered a pawn, but no, it's part of the master plan, as usual.
This is such a typical Magnus first game, like illustrating his understanding. Now, it's just hard for Black to improve their pieces. Maybe Black wants to play knight to f6, try to trade the strong knight on e4, but I don't think White is gonna accept that trade. It's gonna go with the knight to g5 and into e6 probably. So it's hard to suggest a good move for Black here.
Is Magnus also threatening to take on d6 in that position?
I mean, he was threatening to take that pawn, but actually I think Magnus likes that knight so much that he would not even like want to trade it for a pawn, for getting a pawn there.
Yeah.
That knight is arguably stronger than the rook, actually. It's also untouchable. Now White is going to try to probably play a rook to a8 and invade on the queen side.
Yeah, this is looking very good for Magnus now. Black just lacks a plan. Black lacks any activity, just some bad pieces, and that makes the whole position bad. Magnus is going to start game 1, round 1 here with a win.
Could also add that Kleimanov is not only a CM, he's also an FM that he became this year, 12 years old. Wow. And he's got a standard rating of over 2,300.
There's some tactics in the position now. Magnus he's going to play a rook to a8, I think. And after rooks will trade, it looks like Black can protect with king f7, but Magnus could actually just win a piece there, but he didn't go for it. He could actually just take the knight, eliminate the knight, and after the king would take, he could take the bishop. But this also wins.
Yeah, he was wiping his eyes as he played that, so maybe not yet looking for the tactical opportunities. Magnus is just doing it the slow and steady way, hitting this pawn, also hitting this pawn with his bishop. It's going to collapse for black, but at least he's not a piece down.
Is this the definition of sleepy chess?
Pretty much. It's anti-young player chess. Just make it really positional. Just go all about the pawn structures.
This is a typical Magnus game, I would say. You know, just having a nice positional advantage and winning in the end game.
Magnus got the chance again there to go back with the rook and take the knight, but I think he just wants to keep it simple, and now he can take the pawn on b6, and b pawn is gonna win the day.
Just adding here that it's good positions also for Nakamura and Grishik, who are playing on the 2 other top tables at the moment, and the same for MVL, who's on the 4th table, and Bluebaum on the 5th table. They're all the favorites on the top tables right now are doing well, and here we have a decision already.
Yeah, Magnus takes the win. He was 2 minutes up. He was a pawn up, and a good fight from Kleimanov, but unfortunately that endgame was just too one-sided. And we jump in, Witty Alien. Looks like he's struggling. Of course, he's a piece down. When is he not a piece down with white? He's playing against Sanan Sugirov, a very strong grandmaster who represents Hungary nowadays. And unfortunately, I just don't think he has enough for the piece. And yeah, a bit down on the clock as well. Just no weaknesses in the black camp, nowhere to get in. And yeah, exchanges are coming. He's smiling, Witty Alien. He knows he's in a bit of trouble right now.
He tries to activate the rook to c7, which is a good move. But it seems like black can eliminate the knight on g5 now twice. And with the extra knight, it's hard to see white saving this one.
Yeah, especially if the queens come off, that's a full piece. The black bishop can be defended with the rook, with the knight.
Yeah, both rook g8 and knight b6 does the job. I would probably go rook g8, yeah, just to not allow white the freedom on the 7th rank.
Just to take this pawn next. And this should be the beginning of the end. He's going to try and double rooks on the 7th. Oh, he doesn't look happy. Witty Alien here. How to end this game. Oh, devastation. He always shows the full range of emotion. No matter win, loss, he's always full of energy, Witty Alien. And he knows a few accurate moves here from black.
Yeah, Shigurov is taking his time here. Like, white does have the threat of doubling on the 7th rank, and then there's a mate threat that presents itself. So Shigurov should be precise. However, I think he can play like rook to... yeah, for instance, I mean, he can play knight to f3 and get a knight to d4, or even like push the pawn to f4. There's probably many ways to do it, but he's going down to 1 minute soon.
Ooh. Risky time usage from Sigirov.
I mean, we're seeing Witty Alien start to smile now. We haven't seen that in the beginning when we came in.
Ooh, maybe some flagging on the cards. When in doubt, try and flag the opponent. The knight on g5, they're really well placed. It will guard any checks in front of the black king. It's coming in for checks himself. That should bank it.
Do you think Grishik agrees with that sentiment? When in doubt, flag.
Witty Alien versus Grishik, that would be a fun one.
I mean, that was a very dirty flag by Magnus last week.
Isn't that the point of playing?
It was a lot of fun to watch. I enjoyed it, but
5+0. I mean, this is why we're playing this through computers and not on the chessboard.
It's just funny because it's just so the opposite of the way back in the days when Grishuk grew up. Like something like that would be so unacceptable. But I think it's a part of the game in this format.
But Aryan and David, what's not a dirty flag? I mean, people say, "Oh, he dirty flagged me," and complaining and stuff. But I mean,
well, I think a dirty flag is exactly what we saw from Magnus last week, as opposed to just running out on time.
I mean, if it's like you can win on time in a winning position as well. I guess that's not a dirty flag, but you know, most of the flags are, I would say, quite dirty. So.
It's not as dirty if you have a better position. I would say. But that one was kind of like a.
But I feel as though that flag kind of illustrates what at least this format of chess is becoming. I mean, let's face it, this is a qualification for EWC, right? This is the sporting aspect of chess. Yes, the aesthetic aspect of chess still exists in so many formats. It's just this may not be it.
Yeah, and that makes it super entertaining. I think, I mean, as the fan, I really enjoy that, and I think most viewers did. But yeah, you cannot blame the player, but you have to blame the game.
You would have been blacklisted back in the day. You would not have been invited to any tournaments if you'd done that.
Especially in Russia.
Especially in Russia, exactly. But nowadays it's part and parcel. It's like in football. There's time wasting. It's just part of the game. Witty Alien's about to be checkmated. We're going to see the end here. No time either, and resignation. But we jump to another game. Jose Martinez, Jospem with black. Looks like he's about to win. Black has a queen versus an army of pawns and a rook. But the clock is going to decide this one as well. This will not be a dirty flag. This will be a clean flag.
Clean flag, okay.
The pawns are dropping like flies. Some checks first. Eat time off the opponent's clock. Apparently it's mate in 17. That's probably a way to get the black king closer to the white king. And there we go. White resigns, or white runs out of time, and Jose Martinez takes the win.
That was a fun opening round, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing a lot of names here. Now, finally, we have the L bar working properly here, as we can see. So we can see that Hikaru won his first one. Grishuk, as we talked about, MVL. Bluebaum actually ended up with a draw here. I guess that is the biggest upset that I could see in the openings here. Yeah, it does seem like that is the only mildly surprising result.
Yeah, all the favorites doing the job. We talked about the World Rapid Blitz. We would, after Magnus, everyone else we're talking about is like early 20s, late teens. But there's still the likes of Grishuk. There's still the likes of MVL who are always up there. The 30-somethings.
Just look at this top 20 list. I mean, there's so many good chess players. It's going to be a fun day today, guys.
Also, Andreikin, who we don't see play so much over the board chess these days, but he's always been a big blitz specialist who does well in these formats.
Yeah, he's won so many Title Tuesdays.
Is your generation, David?
Exactly, the 1990s, and he was in the candidates as well. He's a very, very strong player.
You probably played him back in 2002, or at least some World Youth Championships.
Yeah, I think he beat me in 1999, Hendrik. Year you were born, Aryan. That's how old we are. And wow, what's Magnus doing? He's played G5 on move 1.
Wow.
Is that a mouse slip?
This is, I think it's definitely not a mouse slip. We know Magnus likes to troll and have some fun, and you can get away with it in the earlier rounds usually. However, I think last week he had an accident.
Well, he
third round against the Indian GM Inian.
Yeah, he got into the animal kingdom. He started out with the cow or a rejected semi-cow opening, and then went into the hippo afterwards.
I mean, that strategy can be dangerous against GMs for sure. And that game, his opponent just played really, really well. But you can probably get away with it in the first two rounds. Already in the third round, it gets.
Did we ever expect to talk about Magnus's games? We're talking about a rejected semi-cow opening.
What's Anna Crumling done to us? The changing perceptions of the chess world, the alien gambit, the cow, all these shady openings somehow made to work.
Looks like this one hasn't gone that bad for Magnus. He's had some pieces on some decent squares. And I don't think he's too unhappy. Like the bishop on g2 is rather restricted.
Yeah, I quite like this. Like the evaluation bar, I think we can ignore for now. It's a very closed position. That means there's no immediate knockout for either side. And I think we've all played worse positions than this with black and been pretty happy.
So we have 2 games and 2 King's Indian structures.
Exactly. King's Indian for black is normally these 3 pawns, white with the kind of central pawns in return, and white breaking through on this flank. But the dark squared bishop's off the board. That tends to help black long term.
Yeah, Magnus got to play the kid after his recent
he loves some wordplay,
recent life news.
Exactly. He had a baby, so now he's playing the King's Indian defense kid. And,
White should try to move the f pawn here to open up the f file. I think it makes a lot of sense. There's a double on the f file. He plays rook c1, bishop d7. I still think he should play maybe f3 or f4. He does give black some squares, but also he can try to create something on the f file, because otherwise it looks like it's not so easy for white to find a plan.
Yeah, maybe he's just going to double rooks and kind of keep the king side closed, just play on the other side of the board. Wow, another young opponent for
him. He's 15. Svatoslav Lesenkov. He's an FM, as we can see on the screen here, and also got his FM title this year, 2025.
And 2,800 already on chess.com. That is not an easy rating to achieve. And okay, Magnus pushing his pawns. The white rooks have come to the c file. Magnus closes the door. So there's no entry points for the white rooks. All the entry points are covered.
Or maybe you can put the rook on the c6.
Oh.
Probably it's too much, but It's difficult for Magnus to find a plan here. It's one of those locked positions where it's kind of white can move back and forth, but it's difficult for black to create some tricky decisions.
Eventually, the rook might have to come the whole way around and try to get back into the game.
But Lysenkov has played really well in this game, I have to say, and now he can try to play rook c7. White has no weaknesses, so it's going to be very interesting to see how Magnus tricks his opponent here.
And Lysenko is playing fairly fast as well, which I guess you have to do when you're playing Magnus.
And the evaluation bar says much better for white. What do we think? Like, is it easy to play for white this position?
I mean, it feels like at least white is the only one who can sort of like take decisions here. White is definitely running the show, while black is, for now, doesn't have a clear plan.
But is there an active plan at all for Magnus? I guess in some of these positions you try and play f5, but in this position I don't think it's...
Yeah, I mean, if you get the rook to f8, maybe in some scenarios you can try to play f5, but for now it doesn't seem too realistic. So I think Magnus is going to try to play it practical here. Plays moves fast, and try to keep his advantage on the clock.
Dirty flag.
He does have a solid 1 minute advantage, so I think he should keep that up.
I was wondering about this. The rook now in a bit of trouble.
Just wanted to add into you here, David. You've been missing British players or English players specific. You got Simon Williams playing this week, and he's now on the 11th table. He's got a good position, 1 point already against Liam Putnam.
Wow, bring it on. Simon is playing another very young, talented player, but showing that experience does count. Nice to see. And, okay, the black queen coming out.
I think white should not have allowed this b4 move. Should probably have put the pawn on a3. Now Magnus can try to maybe activate his bishop to b5.
Yep.
Still a very solid position for white.
Yeah, it feels like the clock is going to be a huge factor in this game. Magnus is playing very, very quick moves very confidently. And yeah, at some point his rook will go back, his knight will come out, and he'll start rearranging the pieces. But for now, Lysenkov lacking a plan.
Yeah, but you guys disagree with the viewer who just wrote in here on top. We see on the screen. It's an easy position against anyone but Magnus. This is not an easy position, though, is it?
No, and especially when it's slow and maneuvering, there's this feeling that like eventually the opponent's going to get you. Eventually Magnus will unravel and turn on the magic.
Ooh.
Already we see the bar reacting much better now for black. Does the black queen just move?
Probably just queen c5, yeah. And it's not that easy for white to protect this e4 pawn.
Yeah, looks like that pawn is hanging. And I guess he's going to try and move his rook and land some kind of discovered attack, but it doesn't really exist. After the black knight takes this pawn, there's threats of the black queen coming in as well. Some nasty checks.
Lysenkov has misplayed this. He had such a nice position a few moves ago. But yeah, I mean, in Blitz, everything can change in a matter of seconds.
Nakamura has won his game, Shong has won his game, Tabatabai has won his game, Abdusatorov has won, Shong, Andreikin, Serrano, just to mention a few.
Oh, this is danger now for the white king. The black queen is nicely poised. Magnus actually gives up a knight. And here the compensation is all about the activity of the black pieces. There's danger on this diagonal. The white knight is hit. It's all falling apart. This knight's actually trapped. No way to defend it.
Yeah, this knight on e4 does an amazing job taking so many important squares, and now bishop takes e2, as David pointed out, is a huge threat. If you move the queen to protect it, then the knight on e3 is defenseless.
Yeah, like
Magnus is going to take this one.
White queen coming up, but the black queen swoops in and everything's covered. No checks. Black rook covers any checks from the white knight. Magnus leans back. He's over 2 minutes ahead on the clock. This will not be a dirty flag. He turned it around just in time. But it wasn't an easy game. Already showing that round two, things do start to get a bit more difficult, leveling up every single round. The white king moves out the way. Magnus raises his eyebrows. Is he going to just take this knight off the board? That looks like the most natural move. And ooh, there's another pawn hanging. Everything falling apart now for white.
Yeah, he can take the pawn. It looks like the simplest, and just move the knight back.
Ooh, does Magnus have a sneaky idea in mind? King takes knight. He's going to give up his queen.
Oh,
queen
wow.
sacrifice to deliver a checkmate. Rook takes bishop at the end of that variation.
Nice.
Oh, he won't be able to show it Magnus Carlsen. Instead, the opponent gives up a knight. But it's just one or two checks here. even if this were a perpetual check, Magnus would be able to dirty flag, but the Black King is going to run and hide behind its queen. This is going to be game over. Lysenkov fought really well, but there we go. The clock goes fully red any second now, and Magnus takes the win.
He tried to stay on it. Oh, look at Ginger GM!
Ginger Claws.
This is amazing.
Wow.
Why are more players not doing this? Simon Williams, not only is he dressed to impress, but he's got a winning position. A pawn up on the board. Beautiful pawn chain here, keeping the black pieces caged. And
he's going to win on time.
But this is brilliant. This is amazing.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Putnam is very high rated. He's
I'm more referring to the outfit right now, sorry.
Nearly 3,200 on chess.com.
Yeah.
Liam Putnam. He's still a teenager, I believe. And Simon, 2 pawns up, is about to take it. Wow. This is the magic of Christmas, everyone.
But isn't this the beauty also of this format where you have, yes, a GM being Simon Williams, but also you have the international master being one that is actually higher rated in this tournament, being in front of him. He had twice the position. It was him that brought the high table. And look at Ginger GM screaming the win.
Ho, 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 Harry the H-Pawn. It's Christmas to remember for Simon. And wow, what a day. Witty Alien delivers checkmate in round 2.
Also, Jospem seems to have been upset.
And that chest pump is beautiful by Witty Alien. I mean, usually when there's the chest pump, you also get the trash talk at the same time. Well, let's take a little bit of look on the scoreboard standings. Hikaru, Magnus, Grishuk, Vashela Grav, Sevian, move ahead, Abdustorov, Dura, Magsudlu, and Zhong. It's exactly like it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah. I'm hoping for Abdu Santurov to win this year, just before Christmas. That's my favorite chess Christmas pun. But okay, he's in the leading pack at the moment. But yeah, lots of the usual suspects.
Well, we're still looking at some games. You can see Atwell and Ashraf is still playing here. What's a dream matchup for round 3? That's when we start facing at least some difficulty, right, Aryan?
Yeah, you start facing grandmasters usually in round 3. So probably like in the 2900s. So I think from last week he maybe learned that he cannot get away with anything in round 3. So he's gonna get tougher and tougher.
I must say, I do agree with the person who just wrote in on Twitch saying that Simon winning the title Tuesday like this would be legendary. And especially with the ho, ho, ho after the win.
Exactly. Like, that was incredible, Simon. There was one title Tuesday not that long ago. It was before we kind of revolutionized things, but he was on 7 out of 7 alongside Grishuk. Unfortunately, it went downhill from there. But Simon, he has it in him. He's capable of the upsets, as we saw.
Listen,
bring it on.
If he wins this title Tuesday, we're going to change our culture. We're going to start sending in Santas with a red beard. He's taking over. He's taking it over.
Exactly.
Magnus gets a tough pairing in round 3. Last week he also played an Indian Grandmaster in round 3, but Bharat is someone I've actually played against in the past. I remember I was playing an open tournament in Denmark back in 2019, and Bharat was just a 12-year-old prodigy back then. Now he's gone to become a pretty strong Grandmaster. So I think close to 2600. I'm not sure about his rating, but definitely a strong player. And here we don't have King's Indian.
No, it's not the King's Indian. It's the Queen's Gambit declined. And my favorite pawn structure, the connect for white with a nice pawn chain. But he closes the center, meaning that Bharat will likely try to chip away at the pawn chain, but also maybe likely to try and force through some central breaks a bit later. Magnus neglecting development, but the center's closed, so it's fine for now.
I don't really like this strategy that Bharat has gone for against Magnus. Magnus is someone that plays so well with space and stable pawn structures, so I think it's better against Magnus to try to create some mess or go for some imbalances to have a slight chance. But here, Magnus is it's like a more positional game where Magnus is just God mode.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, right? We've seen Magnus squeeze these positions so many times. I can't imagine anything happening against the White King. Normally, to beat Magnus, you need to mate him. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Where do
you need to maneuver Magnus to get him out of God mode?
Well, Magnus doesn't feel that comfortable if you get close to his king. It's my impression. So he likes to play with the safe king, but and here his king is very, very safe. So as David actually pointed out, you have to try to create some like imbalances, some attacks where you have to calculate. But this one, it looks like a stable position where white has more space and is somewhat better.
I imagine, Askild, that you're probably one of the people in the world who's played the most Blitz games with Magnus ever. I mean, do you get an impression, like, is there anywhere you could lean him towards that will get him in trouble?
I mean, as Aryan said, I don't think he likes being attacked. And once this was when the Ginger GM was in Oslo many years ago. We went to this pub down the street, and Magnus was there. And
that's how it's just randomly in Oslo, right? You go down to the pub with Ginger GM, and then Magnus is already there.
He was playing for my team Vålerenga at the time, and this was many years ago. Anyways, we're at the pub, and then Magnus comes by, and Simon plays a couple Blitz games against Magnus, and I think he loses, but he got some stuff for his blog, and he was happy. And then I challenged Magnus to a Blitz game, but I started a rook up. So I had the A rook in advantage, but I won the game, but I never touched my A rook. So I told Magnus, I beat you fair and square. I never used the A rook, and I think I had an attacking game actually. So go for the king, and but it's so difficult obviously to play against Magnus because he can play anything. And a question for you, David and Aryan, like, in these tournaments, Magnus can literally play anything. But how different is a Grandmaster's opening repertoire in classical compared to Rapid and Blitz?
Yeah, it can be totally different. I feel braver taking bigger risks in Blitz. They don't always pay off. They can backfire, but often players are more willing to play dubious variations that really test the opponent when the clocks are low. Here, Magnus has, after a bit of work, trapped his opponent's knight, it looks like.
Rook b1, he's going to try to go queen d8 to attack the white bishop, but even there, I think worst case, maybe white can eliminate the pawn on e6.
Yeah, giving away his bishop for the highest price possible. He actually retreats the bishop, and he's going to try and catch the knight on the edge of the board.
Oh, this also seems to win a pawn. It's probably more precise. The knight didn't have... I mean, it could go to c4, but that would drop a pawn. And here, Magnus can capture the pawn on c6, where it seems like he's a clean pawn up and probably a winning position.
Yeah, he's just been reluctant to calculate Magnus. He didn't want to look at all those tactics. Bishop takes e6. Maybe the black knight will come in to c4. A little bit of work to be done, but Magnus with a winning advantage now. Aryan, what are your thoughts on the openings? We've seen Magnus play everything under the sun, play the cow opening, play g5 and still win.
Well, Magnus is privileged that he plays every type of position, structures well, usually, so he studied so many different types of position openings, so he can play on most things. But for the rest of us, it's usually you have a couple systems that you can sort of play fast and have some experience in. I think experience helps a lot if you have some systems that you've sort of like played the first 10-15 moves a lot before. Obviously, the time usage is so important in Blitz, so you just got to play some systems that you know well. Like, you shouldn't try to experiment too much, I would say, with new openings with so low time. You just have to play something you know well and play fast.
Makes sense.
Just wanted to let you know that our Santa Claus, Simon Williams, Ginger GM, is in a bit of trouble here against Vugard Asterdorf. He's behind on time and behind on the position.
Oh, he's been a good boy this year, though, so Santa might reward him, and everyone sent some Christmas spirit to Simon Williams in his quest to turn things around. And here, I'm not sure there will be a turnaround. Magnus is totally winning against Barat. There was only one threat against his rook. That rook moves, and it's going to be the c-pawn that is going to win this game. The white knight can support that with some nasty checks a bit later as well. Magnus is about to take the third win in a row.
I wouldn't be surprised if Barat's chosen the towel here. There's no tricks for black.
And Magnus makes it look so smooth and clean. I mean, it's incredible. Game after game, he just and what I admire the most about Magnus is his way of playing, in the sense that he makes it easy for himself. He doesn't overcalculate or spend a lot of time
Let's move over to Hikaru.
different variations.
He's playing against the Israeli GM here, Steinberg.
Okay, and we join a very chaotic position. Material count shows its level, but the black pawns in the center are far stronger than any of the white pawns right now. The white pawn in front of the black king actually acts as a bit of a shield, keeping Hikaru's king safe. Massively better for Hikaru, I think, is a good evaluation, especially with the extra minute on his clock. And we're seeing a lot of hotel rooms. It looks like a lot of the players traveling. Hikaru, of course, has been playing in India at the Global Chess League.
Steinberg used to be a very strong junior from Israel. I remember I was playing the age category groups as a kid, and he was always one of the best. I believe he's born in 1998.
Yeah, he turns 28 in January.
Yeah, so he's born in 98, and he was always very talented and strong. And here it looks like Hikaru has a very safe king and about to take this one.
Yeah, it's just about how to get the job done. Do you push your pawn? Do you try and bring the rook in at the right moment? You just have to watch out for tactics based on white getting the rook up with a check. And, okay, the eval bar.
Hikaru looks very stressed.
Yeah.
Surprisingly stressed for, if you look at the position, he has much more time and seems to be in control with the pass pawn on e2.
He has a nice hotel room with the plant decoration and everything.
Is that surprising?
No, not really. But it still looks like he's comfortable.
He's struggling to find the win, though, Hikaru. He knows he's been winning. Actually, for most of this game, he's been in the driver's seat. That's probably why he's frustrated right now. But, okay, talking to his chat, I don't really see the downside of bringing the rook in right now. Looks like a double attack on the white queen, white knight. There we go.
I think he's upset about something else than the chess, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're getting to know the player's trophy so well after some time here, but right now it's more interesting on the position.
Oh, but he's hung his bishop. Some calculations needed here. Hikaru, definitely something was wrong because he's made a mistake and suddenly he's down a piece. Wow. He can win it back by promoting, but that means he loses his pride and joy, the pawn, and there's a variation there that he might have miscalculated. Yeah. And now, after rook to d2, white can give perpetual check with the rook. The black king cannot escape.
Oh, wow. But I actually think with the time here that, unfortunately for Steinberg, he, even if he saves the position, he's going to lose on time.
Dirty flag.
Dirty flag, yeah. This is what we were... Askild was asking about what the dirty flag is. It's probably going to be this one.
Askild asking. And yeah, this is a dead drawn endgame. Black's running out of pawns. White can give all the checks here. But Hikaru is definitely going to play this on for victory. He's going to get out of the checks. He's even going to give up his pawns. He's taking a bit of a risk here, Hikaru, but he shouldn't be in too much danger. And there we go. Things are turning.
Could I have started with... No, not really. I was going to say you could start with e2, but there was rook e5 check.
Uh-huh. Now Hikaru is taking some of the pawns off. Even if it's rook versus rook, he's going to play this one forever. And 5 seconds now left for white. The clock is very, very red. Hikaru gives up his pawn. It's a dead drawn endgame, but Steinberg has no time. 1 second. A few checks, a few pre-moves. Under 1 second now. A shake of the head. Smile from Steinberg, and he blunders his rook to a pre-move. Game over.
I mean, it's a difficult situation, and it's one of those, he knows what he's walking into. He has no way of getting out of it, and that's just the name of the game, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, but a good fight from Steinberg, who was very close to getting a half point against Hikaru.
Any surprises on the list right now from how you're seeing things, David?
Yeah, Alexander Grishuk losing in round 3. He's been a man in form. Ran Magnus very close last week. We also saw, well, we see Magzulu about to lose. We saw Andrakin lose after we praised him a bit earlier. And yeah, some surprises. But Magnus Hikaru at the top, that is not a surprise right now.
Look at this great first game. Hikaru against Oparin. That is something we have to watch.
Oparin, a very, very strong player. Yeah. I know very well. I've also played against him in the past. Definitely a very strong blitz player. I played against him a lot. And he played the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz this year. It's like an elite blitz tournament where he did really well. He beat some very, very strong players. So not going to be an easy game for Hikaru.
That's why we should watch it.
Yeah, we should watch it. And this one, we have a bit of an offbeat opening, but it's been seen before. I think Magnus played this knight a3 move a few years ago, I recall.
Mm-hmm. Against MVL.
Yeah, MVL, yeah. It's, I forgot who it was against, but yeah, it was MVL.
And Magnus, meanwhile, is playing the Grinch, the Simon Williams Slayer, Vugar Rasulov, who took down the Ginger GM in the last round. So Magnus, he wants revenge for Santa Claus.
You're strong today, David. You're very strong on the Christmas.
Just can't wait for the presents tomorrow. The Christmas food. And okay, in the meantime, Hikaru's pushed his pawn. It kind of looks like a weird Catalan with the knight and some extra pawn pushes. Black's bishop does look a bit stuck. Aryan, you mentioned you know Aryan, you've played a lot of blitz against each other. How good do you think his chances will be in a position like this?
Well, Aryan is someone who has very good chess understanding. His good chess education, it's like from the Soviet school of chess, I guess you can say. So not easy to take him down. Here, it looks like he's opting for some f5 stuff. Looks okay for black to me. Maybe white will try to play f3 and get e4 in. Just a fight.
Do you get tired at all playing this tournament as a player, guys? I mean, now going into round 4, you're going into a break. Is that something that comes nicely, or are you just so used to playing such long sessions online that it doesn't matter?
I mean, it is always nice to get the break. I mean, especially in Title Tuesday these days, compared to a couple of years ago, you're like already in round 2-3, you start playing strong grandmasters, which obviously takes a lot of energy to play a strong GM in every game. So I think the 2 breaks are nice to like catch your breath. Here, black has improved their bishop on a6. I think objectively speaking, black should be doing all right, but I see the bar is not too happy.
Yeah, black's just very cramped. I'm looking at this black knight, and I'm wondering how it's ever going to get into the game. Assuming that white at some point just pushes pawns and never really breaks the formation, breaks the structure. This black knight is pretty much dead for a while. The black bishop is going to struggle as well to participate, and Hikaru probably is going to launch a slow attack. Doesn't need to rush. There we go, h4, h5. When in doubt, push the h-pawn, and it's going to be a long, long game.
Tabatabai already winning his game after what is referred to as an early Botas gambit from his opponent.
I saw that game. Yeah, he blundered his queen as early as move 12. Yeah, that was not the finest moment for Bukreyev. And we have the first leader on 4 out of 4.
It's nice to see that strong players blunder their queen as well. It can happen to anyone.
But popular culture and also streaming culture is really putting its mark on how you speak chess these days, isn't it?
Yeah, Botas Gambit, everyone knows that for sure. Phrase. It's, probably more people know what a Botas Gambit is than they know en passant, which says something about chess these days.
Aryan is going to try to trade rooks now, take on b3, and take the rook and bring the other rook to a8.
Mm-hmm. There is a weak pawn, though, that Hikaru can go for with the queen, maybe with his knight as well a bit later. So he can play on both sides of the board here, Hikaru. This is the beauty of having space. White's pawns are so far advanced. But as Aryan mentioned, Aryan is going to try and get active, going to try and at least conquer the A file. And still some work to be done. The more pieces that leave the board, if black isn't immediately knocked out or losing anything, then the more confident Aryan might become.
But maybe Hikaru can just play rook b1 and then start pushing on the rook somewhere, and then push on the king side, because it looks dangerous for black when those pawns go marching.
Bishop d8 is a nice move. Now the point is that if you capture a pawn on b4, black has this bishop to a5 response hitting the queen, and white loses material because the rook would be unprotected after.
So Hikaru does try and trade off those bishops. White's bishop was a bit stuck. He gets them off the board, but it will come at the cost of a pawn now for Aryan. There we go. Hikaru, a pawn to the good. Black's knight still just a bit of a bystander. Hikaru's going to try and trade everything else off. Black's bishop looked pretty strong. White's bishop wasn't doing much. It doesn't feel over, though, somehow. White is quite far extended, so if the black pieces come around the back, if the black knight kind of sits and defends its king.
The problem is that the knight on d7 is so bad. Yeah. If you had that on a good square, it would be some compensation, but
one day it's going to activate somehow and back around. And difficult to imagine, though.
That's a long journey for the knight.
Journey. It starts knight on f8. There is no checkmate. In blitz, that tends to help, but
now he's Yeah, rook a1. Can you take on... Take on b3 probably didn't work because you would lose the c6 pawn in the end.
Yeah. There would have been a variation with the white rook taking the black queen and going behind. But instead we see the queen still on the board. Maybe some hope for Aryan long term with the white king a bit open, but for now black's pieces just can't come in.
Well, this is settling a little bit. I just wanted to mention that Shagirov, who we saw earlier in this Title Tuesday, is playing MVL on table number 3, and then Magnus, as you mentioned, is playing Rasulov, and it looks like it's two quite even positions.
Well, Rasulov is a strong blitz player. I think he's actually won Title Tuesday a couple of times before. I always see him on the top of the boards.
Yeah. Very good openings. We talked about openings earlier. Rasulov always plays kind of similar stuff, and he knows it inside out. Gives him a bit of an edge on the clock. And here Hikaru has an edge on the clock. He's just taking things nice and slow. He's going to start playing checkers by putting all his pawns on dart squares. And when the moment comes, he'll try and swap off the queens or try and break through on the queen side. He's bringing his king over. That's intended to liberate the white queen from defensive duties. Yeah, that black knight has just been the worst piece of the game.
Yeah, he's gonna drop his rook back to a6 now and then try to play queen a5, trading queens. It's hard to do anything with black. If you could just like enter with the queen to e2 and activate it would be nice, but he's not gonna allow that.
Ooh, Hikaru's going for it. I'm really shocked he didn't kind of try and trade queens earlier when he had the opportunity. Now the black knight coming around looks a little bit scary, but Hikaru still has everything defended. And Aryan, wow, opens up his king.
I was surprised by that one. I thought he was just going to play g6.
Yeah, either g6 or just leave it, like, and hope that white. Oh,
can you play? I was tempted to play knight g4.
Yeah, knight g4 looked strong, but I think black could maybe play f5 there.
Yeah. Maybe it was too slow with g4.
But now knight g4 is looking very tempting. Yeah. Knight g4 to e5.
It's a great square.
And now the question is whether you take a timeout. You do.
Yeah, just queen e3 is very professional, not allowing any counterplay.
Yeah, and it's going to be very much one-sided traffic once the white knight arrives. Hikaru can start setting up some checkmates already with the rook coming round to the h-file. You can even sacrifice the rook in many of the situations here. This looks over. Aryan
may look over. One person who's in trouble, though, is actually Magnus right now, it seems.
Ooh.
Wow.
Magnus.
Oh, he lost. Magnus actually lost.
Wow. Oh. The Grinch strikes again. Takes down Simon Williams, Magnus Carlsen. Hikaru wins in the meantime with a checkmate incoming next move. But we have our first shock result. And will we see another one? Sam Sevian facing Aravind. Looks very strong for black with something happening on the f2 square. Rook takes f2 is the answer, threatening a checkmate and a discover check. That could be the end of the game. Despite being a piece down for Sevian, he has a winning attack.
Aravind, a player who had a fantastic 2025. I mean, he was actually... It didn't end very well for him, but I think he hit 2760 at some point. Like, he hit top 10 in the world, but the last few months didn't go his way. But the beginning of 2025 was one of the best... best results anyone's ever had. Yeah.
He rose from kind of mid-2600s to mid-2700s in the year or 18 months, and here we go. It was a discover check, another check, and when the white king lands, there's going to be a fatal one. There we go. Sam Sevian took the win. Witty Alien.
Witty Alien has a winning position. His pawns are very strong.
What a position. Look at all those pawns. It's 4 versus 1 on the king side alone. He also has 20 seconds more, which is vital here. It's not going to be a dirty flag if he wins on time. He just needs to defend his pawns. Oh, wow, that's clever. He's going to force his pawn through. He wins the white knight. 4 seconds for white. There we go. Pawns dropping off the board. You can pre-move this now. Just take all the pawns. He's going to get his second win of the day. Okay, this is looking very smooth. Ever since we joined in, he's not going to let this one slip. He's too good to let it slip. Rook behind the pass pawn. Great endgame technique. He's about to make a new queen. He leans back. He's going to take the rook, barring a stalemate. It's over, and there we go. The heart. He's showing his lion courage there as he takes the win with the alien.
And we just had a really crazy end game also with Bortnik, I saw here, but that ended up with a draw. We can see some of the other results going on here right now, leaving us with 15 players right now with 4 out of 4. Any big surprises among those, Aryan?
Well, Magnus is definitely the biggest surprise. But besides that, let's see.
I'll just mention, Magnus was totally winning, and in one move he blundered and had to resign.
Wow.
In an end game, of all things.
Can we get that game up?
I don't know if we can show just the final position of Magnus's game, but he was a pawn up, dominant king, dominant knight. It was good knight versus bad bishop, and he blundered into a rook exchange, which allowed the opponent to make a new queen. And there we go.
Oh my god!
The white knight had just kind of come up to the top of the board, but this was a big, big blunder. The white knight stood on this square. Imagine it back here. If he'd played any other move, moved his rook away, moved his king, he would have just won this game. But after rook takes rook, the black pawn is about to become a new queen. Huge blunder from Magnus Carlsen, and he had time on the clock.
He's human.
Yeah, he's human, but it's a very unusual blunder by Magnus. We don't really see it much these days. But he's human after all.
Listen, I want to, now that we're going into a break here, I want to go a little bit into the World Rapid and Blitz. And I guess I can also explain to those watching at home. We're sitting in Norway here with the Take studio. And I think it's hard for people to imagine how big the World Rapid and Blitz Championship really is in Norway, Askild.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Norwegians are watching daily, and it's become a Christmas tradition, and it's incredible. And I spoke with Magnus last week, and he told me how much it feels, how much it means for him that all these Norwegians are watching from home and rooting him on. So it's incredible.
We actually got to take a little bit of a trip inside of NRK. That is the public broadcaster in Norway, who's the one who's broadcasting the World Rapid and Blitz tournament for Norwegian linear TV. And just take a little bit of a look on how they prepare for the World Rapid and Blitz here in Norway.
This is the chess studio. This is obviously a camera, a big camera. This is where I open the broadcast, standing here. We are prioritizing this because we know that our viewers love it.
A huge part of the Norwegian population every year, gather around their television or their screens and follow the action move by move.
When October becomes November, people approach me. Oh, will it be chess? Is Magnus playing? Yes, yeah. Hopefully he's playing. I don't know, nobody knows, but we, fingers crossed, he's playing, right? And then I got confirmation he's playing, yes.
No one has believed in chess being able to reach a really broad general audience. And I think Norway basically has been the only country really aiming for it and succeeding. Chess was still seen to be something like only for the very smart people and not something that you would like to watch. But with this NRK concept, we were really able to show that, well, yes, you don't have to be, a mastermind to actually enjoy the game.
I think they are actually more honest than other athletes, especially Magnus and Jan Nepomniachtchi, for example. If they don't want to talk, that says it all as well. They are so pretty easy to read.
And it connects different generations.
It's like, a bonfire. Include everybody. Include the grandmasters and include my grandmother who has never ever moved a piece. The things going on in Magnus's head, we can only speculate. We don't know, and that's also really intriguing. But also, he's playing in jeans. Oh no, all the stories, right?
I do see Magnus as being the clear favorite in the Blitz to win his gold medal number 9. I also see him as the favorite in the Rapid. Of course, it will be tougher for him there.
You know where when we worship Satan, we have the cross upside down. We do it same here with a Christmas tree upside down. And because also in Qatar, they don't celebrate Christmas. And neither do we. We celebrate chess here at the NRK. Thank you and Merry Christmas.
Our friend at NRK, Ole Rolfsrud, take him slightly serious on that ending note, not necessarily completely serious, but at the same time, it is hard for people outside of Norway to imagine the broad appeal that chess really has in Norway.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't understand it until I came here during the pandemic in 2020. One of the first days I arrived in Norway, I opened a newspaper and it was Magnus, literally on the front page. And like Aryan said, 20% of the whole population, 1 million of a country of 5 million watching. And not just that, but on the final day last year, Magnus Carlsen against Jan Nepomniachtchi, apparently 80% of people with their TVs on, they were watching the chess.
Exactly, because I was going to say, don't confuse the percentage of the population to the actual market share. The market share is unheard of. And I work for the competitor of NRK, the TV2, which is the commercial network. I mean, to use an English comparison, it's the BBC against the ITV of broadcasting. But even for our chess broadcast, we do the freestyle tour, we do Norway chess, we do a lot of other things. We have double-digit market shares that is actually watching chess on TV on a commercial channel. It's unheard of.
It is, and it just goes to show the chess boom we've had in Norway now for, I would say, 10, 15 years, and all people I meet leading up to Christmas ask me about, Magnus, the World Rapid and Blitz, and I think Magnus is perhaps the most recognizable celebrity in Norway.
He probably is, isn't he?
Next to the king.
And Holland.
Yeah, and Holland. Now, yeah, Holland is also very recognizable, but yeah, he's a super big celebrity, and everyone is rooting for him, and yeah, it's fantastic.
We are going to get closer on this Hikaru against Minlay game that looks to be an excellent one. I just wanted to finish up with one point, and it's also to really all those people out there who's been following chess for years and might get a little frustrated with the very broad approach that, for example, Take does some of their broadcasts. This is really an attempt to try to reach that kind of viewership all over the world. And Aryan, like when you turn into a chess broadcast now, you also expect to be entertained, not just follow the games, right?
Yeah, you expect to be entertained, and these days, I mean, as Askild said, like the last 10, 15 years, I've been like witnessing the chess boom here in Norway, and I remember 2013 was the first time we got chess on TV with NRK showing Magnus's first World Championship match, and it just exploded since then. It's been so fun to see, and now we see people on the bus and the train playing chess. It's very cool.
In this round 5, we have a German showdown with Bluebam against Svan. But we're following the Vietnamese Minlay against Hikaru, and is he in trouble, like the evaluation bar says?
I wouldn't say he's in trouble yet. It's the theme of the day, the opening of the day, the kid, the King's Indian defense. It always seems to be this pawn structure against White's strong center. And the evaluation bar, the computers tend to prefer White, at least in the early stages. Hikaru is trying to trade off his dark square bishop, which would have otherwise been a bit stuck. White's castled the long way, so it's going to be interesting to see whether Hikaru can whip up anything against White's king, and maybe long-term White will try and do something against Hikaru's king. I'm going to say for now it's balanced, and there we go. Even better for Black. The computer's changed its mind.
Hikaru has tons of experience in this opening. The King's Indian is an opening he's played for his whole life almost, I would say. So it really suits his style, and especially in Blitz, he can make his moves really fast. I think H4 is a great move by White, trying to get the attack going. Maybe the move King to H8 was a bit strange, kind of inviting H4, H5. Now Hikaru captures a pawn, but it looks very dangerous to open the H file, David.
Feels super dangerous, even long term. Like, okay, maybe there was something stronger there than bringing the knight forward, but. Yeah, this is big risk-taking from Hikaru Nakamura. And in that position, it looked like there were actually tactics that White could have landed immediately, including stopping the bishop from coming back to the g5 square. That would have been very, very strong, just moving the White queen. But yeah, this looks very, very dangerous for Hikaru, although the computer now thinks it's better for him. I guess he can just defend passively and hold on to his extra pawn.
One other game that I find extremely exciting right now is the candidate Andrei Yesipenko playing against Jan-Krzysztof Duda. Yesipenko with the white pieces. That's something we could keep an eye on while this is going on as well.
Yeah, we'll come to that game maybe a bit later. In the meantime, Minlay has stacked up his rooks.
Looks like Hikaru has found a pretty good defensive construction here with the pawn on f6 and rook on f7. The problem for white is that it's difficult to activate your knights. Like it's very tough to improve your knights to attack something. So like white allowing that defensive mechanism seems to have been a big mistake. Now Hikaru seems to be comfortable.
Yeah, maybe he's playing the King's Indian defense, just like you said earlier, Aryan, in honor of the fact that he had a kid just recently as well.
Everyone has a kid these days.
Exactly, everyone has a kid, everyone's playing the kid.
Speaking of a father, Magnus Carlsen is playing against Yavakadze from Georgia.
Magnus will be aiming to get back on the winning trail. He did it last week. He was a point behind the pack for a long time, but stormed into the lead when it mattered.
So Min Le is a very strong blitz player from Vietnam. He's been known in the chess world for many years, mostly for his blitz skills. He doesn't play too much classical. However, last year he played in an Olympiad and he had amazing result. I think he had a 2800 performance on the third board. Probably won a medal as well. So he can play classical as well. Yeah. I actually lost to him in that tournament. Yeah. I know he won against England as well.
Yeah, I wasn't playing that day. They rested me. So.
And he's also an expert hair braider, right?
Yeah, the twiddler. Twiddler on the roof. And,
you're strong today, David. I got to give it to you.
Thank you. Yeah, he's been known as a blitz specialist and a hair twiddler for many, many years. And I've watched some of his streams, and he'll be silent for ages and then suddenly explode into life and just... start criticizing what he just did. Normally he's very harsh on his own play. And I don't know, he's a pawn down still with white, but it's hard to see what Hikaru is doing in the near future. Both sides are lacking pawn breaks. That is the major issue. And okay, we're seeing that maybe Min Le is the one turning things in his favor. At some point he could win the pawn back. He could maybe go for the black A pawn.
In what are three very exciting matchups? It seems Sevion has an advantage against Serrana, Yesipenko has an advantage against Dura, and Shong has an advantage against Tabatabai.
It's a big question for white here. Do you take the pawn on a3 and give up the b4 pawn or defend it? He decides to trade those pawns. And now the rook on b4 looks oddly placed, but at the same time, it's definitely not trapped as it can go to the a4 square.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. Like that white b4 pawn would have at least kept the black knights out of some key squares for later. So now if the black rook does survive and get out, then at least the black knights have activity and outposts. This could be really, really bad news for Min Le.
This is a bit of a classical scenario where I would say the knight is stronger than the bishop. And the reason for that is that if you have the pawns on the same color as your bishop, that usually benefits your opponent because you kind of take away the squares from your own bishop, and here it would be better to have a dark squared bishop while the position is rather close, and knights usually stronger in close positions, as I would say is the case here.
And also a perfect square for the knight outpost on c5, which you can never kick away.
Yeah, but both c5 and b6 are nice squares for the knight, and here, I think black is, exactly, rook f8, rook a8. Finally time to... That rook has not been in the game for ages, but now it's finally coming to life.
Just want to remind everyone that Witty Alien is also streaming today, and the reason why I mentioned that is because he's in the Dave cave here in the studio, and we can hear him screaming from the other room, so there must be excitement going on in his games.
There's literally 2 walls between us, and maybe 10 meters between us, but we can still hear him screaming. And I'm just hoping he doesn't throw my mouse again.
I mean, I feel like there's no exciting going on, nothing exciting going on in his game. Always something.
In the meantime...
Go figure with those gambits that he plays, right?
Yeah, not for the faint-hearted. There should be like a blood pressure warning attached to those games. But okay, Hikaru finally makes his move and breaks out. The King's Indian move, the f5, has hit, and Hikaru closes it again. But now at least he has another open file for his rooks, for his pieces. Any endgame, any queen exchange will just be winning.
There's almost knight takes d5 becomes tempting here, but he goes rook g8, tries to occupy the only open file in the position. The problem for white here is that if you try to play a move like rook to g1, then suddenly the black knight can come to c3. So you kind of running into trouble on both flanks.
Yeah, he's entered Hikaru. He's now in the white camp. The black queen can come down to the first rank at some point. There we go. The black rook is always ready to come in if given the opportunity to somewhere on the g-file. Maybe even slow play it, move the queen out the way, use the rook and come fully behind. And sooner or later it should end in checkmate.
Shong wins, and Sevian wins, and Vacher de Grave is about to win.
Wow, the Grave giving up his queen in that game.
Yeah, but he has about a million officers in compensation.
Exactly. And Hikaru wins the white queen. That is a knight fork. Rook takes knight would have been met by the black rook coming down, and that would have been a deadly pin. Hikaru making it look smooth.
It's a very nice way to end the game.
Here we have Andrei Esipenko and Jan Krzysztof Duda fighting it out in the time battle.
Ooh, it's all about the knights. And it looks like the white knights are the ones doing the damage. There's going to be a nasty check here. And at some point you might be able to... Okay, he pushes the pawn immediately. That is intended against the black knight, and that will not now defend the f7 pawn, which will drop. Check. It's a 2-pawn advantage for Andrei Esipenko. Oh, the clock, though.
20 seconds.
It's going to make it a bit more random. He should be winning here, but still a lot of hard work to be done. That's a tricky move. The white rook wasn't defended. White rook needs to grab some pawns. Knight's off the board, and suddenly, game on.
Yeah, the last few moves were definitely not the cleanest by Esipenko. Now it all comes down to the time. They're both under 10 seconds.
Yeah, the black knight has fallen, though. So Esipenko, as long as he avoids checkmate, he should be winning this game. But he's down 2 seconds on the clock.
Panic
5
mode
seconds
here.
Against 6. Can he deliver checkmate? The black king is on the edge. Oh, he gives a few checks of his own. The black rooks are threatening to give white a checkmate there, but the check stopped. 2 seconds each, 1 second each.
God.
It's fastest finger first here. 0 seconds for Duda, and no, Esipenko takes the win.
But this is not a dirty flag. This is playing down to the wire.
This did feel like it deserved the win for
This is a
Esipenko.
dirty flag.
Wow. Magnus going dirty.
Oh, dead drawn endgame, we should mention there. Opposite color bishops, but Magnus 3 seconds faster than his Georgian opponent.
Is that the Magnus Carlsen legacy? He's a dirty flagger.
He'll be remembered for a few things. Jeans, co-champions, flagging.
Oh, it's a rough day today. David Howell is on fire and he's throwing bombs everywhere. But that means that we can see there's now 7 players with 5 points. We're getting Hikaru against Abdusatorov, MVL Shong, Esipenko Sevian, Deak against Svana. This is going to be fun.
Oh yeah, looking forward.
Ooh, where to start?
Big matchups.
Is it Hikaru Nakamura against Abdusatorov? Need to change that name by deed poll. And here we go. Game on in round 6. Both on perfect scores.
Sicilian in this game. We actually haven't seen a Sicilian so far. So it'll be interesting. We have the C3 Sicilian, which is rather solid compared to the main lines usually, where you go for d4. This A3 move looks quite strange, but it's been popularized the last year. Been played by some good players. The point is basically trying to make a prophylactic move and taking the b4 square.
Yeah, I've played the C3 Sicilian since I was 5 years old, so, oh god, 30 years now. But I've never seen A3 until the last few months. And yeah, I don't know what it contributes here to this position, but apparently slightly better for white.
Slightly better for Naka Mary.
Oh, nice, nice. How Hikaru of you to change his name like that.
Nakamari against Abdusatorov, was that it?
Hikaru Nakamura.
Nakamari.
Nakamari. Yeah. And okay, it's all about the white pawn on e5, which clamps down on the black position. It could become a weakness though, and Abdusatorov is hinting that he might take the knight a bit later before taking the pawn in the center, but not yet. And just develops. Whose position would you prefer here, Askild?
Ooh, tough question. Feel white is doing okay. I like the pawn on e5, but I think yeah, black shouldn't be in any sort of trouble. So yeah, I think Abdusatorov has some chances in this one.
Yeah, I could see on the black side of these positions, easier to play maybe, and less responsibility with the e5 pawn. Like,
yeah,
maybe looking more of a weakness than a strength right now.
It's probably time to go Simon Williams style with H4 here.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
At least what I would play. Looks exciting.
Looks tempting. Always with the knight parked on G6. Oh, there we go.
Wow.
It's on the radar. Good call, Aryan. H4. And there are some tactics here if black decides to take this pawn. At the very end of the line, there might be sacrifices on the H7 square, the white queen coming out. Black has to time this really, really well.
Looks like white's got an initiative here. I don't know if Abdusantorov missed the last move, but it's not that easy to stop H5. You probably have to take on H4, but it looks like the following position is dangerous for black.
Dangerous and messy with the black king out in the open like that. But yeah, sometimes you need to make those big decisions. It feels like his last move, putting the rook in the center, is aimed at playing the move F6, so maybe that's something as well he could consider, but it feels a bit loosening for the black pieces.
Magnus Carlsen is playing against Pranav Anand.
The second strongest Pranav.
Second strongest Anand.
Shung against MVL, we have Yesepenko against Sevin.
Ooh, bishop's coming off the board.
Goes for David's idea there with F5, but it was difficult to suggest anything else. Now, I believe Hikaru is just going to take on F6, and that following structure should be better for white.
Yeah, especially if the black knight has to go to some odd squares. He moves his queen instead, so he's still arguing that H5 is a bit of a threat, kicking the black knight into the corner. From the corner, it's still going to come out, but it does look like it's a bit of a cramped position for black right now. Hikaru looks happy. He's up on time. Looks like the C3 Sicilian is doing the business again.
I mean, black could also play his bishop to C5, attacking the white queen, but Hikaru would just move the queen back to D3 there, and probably black would not achieve much. So Abdusantorov decides to go for D5.
I love how you kept the name. I love how you kept the name, Aryan.
You guys started it, so I mean,
You're making it sound so natural.
I'm just following.
You know, Abdusantorov until 2026, we can keep calling him that. And okay, he resisted once en passant. I should mention Nakamura. He didn't take the F pawn en passant. Eventually, he took the D pawn, and yeah, that was not a gift. It was a recapture, but still looking nice for white here. Nice harmony.
Harmony is a good word, and that's something black is lacking here. The pawn on E6 is very loose in many of these positions. Like, you would want to play rook to D8, challenging the D file, but then the pawn on E6 would be hanging in many variations here. It's probably going to give the check on D5. Decides to go queen D7 instead. So now you could trade queens and try to play rook to F7, but then in the end, white would play G3 there. But it looks like black is somewhat alive here. Like, it could have been worse.
Definitely. The queen and knight combo, somehow maybe keeping the queens on the board. Hikaru would have had better chances. But he likes his endgames these days, especially in blitz. And yeah, he might not be objectively better, but he's going to hope that he can jump around with the knight a bit into some nice squares. There we go, into C6 now. The rook can still come in a bit later. Yeah, still maybe easier to play with white, but black does have everything covered, defending his pawn there.
A rook F7, good way to defend the bishop. And now white has a dangerous threat of trading rooks and bringing the other rook to D7, so black needs to take some care.
Oh, the bishop feels really loose on that square. It's all holding
You
together.
could still trade rooks and bring the rook to D7. He does. And I suspect that he's going to go after the B pawn now, rook B7. Very difficult to defend.
Does he walk into a pin? Hikaru to go up material. It's a very clever move there from black.
You can probably take on B6, because after rook D6 you have knight takes E5.
Aha, nice. Big threat then. Knight takes E5, and the idea of coming around with a fork if the black rook takes the white rook. So maybe the black king has to get out of the way somehow. Oof.
MVL is looking extremely strong against Jeffrey Shung. And there he just won.
Strong against strong. Nice.
Strong against strong.
Okay, key moment. Bishop drops back.
Yeah, MVL is the World Blitz champion from 2021, I believe, so he's very capable of...
He's born in the correct year, right, David?
He really is. I've said 1990 probably more times in my life than I've played chess games. He is from the golden generation, Maxime.
Are you allowed to say that when you're also a part of that generation?
Yeah, I'm just not part of it, unfortunately. I'm the silver in the generation, maybe. But we're off the board here.
That's underselling yourself, by the way.
But now the knight doesn't have any good squares, and of course it can go back to b4. But is that a drawish endgame, or? Yeah, now it is, right? So
definitely.
maybe he has misplayed this position a little bit.
Shaking his head, Hikaru.
Yeah, this is probably just a draw now.
Yeah, this is actually just a fortress.
Yeah, both have passed pawns, and
Abdusattor understood this really well, especially with the pawn on e3 cemented there. I mean, the point is that white can never activate the king here because of the e3 pawn. So although white is a pawn up, he can just not make progress. So this is going to be a draw.
It was a good fight back also from Sam Sevian against Yesipenko, so they made a draw as well. So a lot of good players on 5.5 points right now.
Is anyone on 6 points?
We'll find out. And Magnus gets the win in the meantime. He was about to deliver mate with his queen, with his rook. And that is a killer attack on the b2 square. And the white rooks also awkwardly dominated by the bishops. So a nice smooth win. Closing the gap.
I mean, just looking at the picture, if you show up with that picture that Pranav has here, Pranav Anand, that is, you're kind of setting yourself up for extra inspiration from your opponent.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is burning on and off the board. Looks like. Here we have Aryan against Grishuk. It's like a crazy position.
If Grishuk wins this, we may have a repeat of last week's final between Grishuk and Magnus.
Oh, Grishuk's going to be so thirsty for revenge there. This is a wild position, though. Aravin's down at 20 seconds, but his king is so open. He is up a pawn, and he is threatening the f7 square. The knight is also hit. The rook's coming up to c8. So best play looks like it is Grishuk taking a draw with some queen checks, but surely you've got to play for time here.
Especially after last week. I mean, he must be inspired to...
Oh, he goes for checkmate.
Inspired to do the same that he hated upon himself?
Yeah, it's going to be hard for white to save this one with the time.
Oh, maybe playing...
Just take the pawn on a2 now.
Yeah, there was a checkmate threat. Oh, knight to d3.
Oh, he blunders. You can still go rook h2. Bishop d4 maybe.
12 seconds though. Grishuk's learned.
Yeah.
He's learned his lesson. Shoes on the other foot. Now he's better since the white king is actually awkwardly placed. Some checks. 9 seconds is simply not enough here.
But you can make a lot of pre-moves with 8 seconds.
I don't know. He's losing 1 second every move here. He gives a knight check to take that knight or not to take. Keeps those pieces on the board. He's going to dodge the checks. 5 seconds for Aravind. 4 seconds for Aravind. He's too slow here. 1 second per move is just too much. He's got to jump with his knight.
Rook f5.
He's got to get the black pieces off the board, but no time. 2 seconds, 1 second. You can play good moves if you want, but there we go. It's eventually going to tell. The knight drops off. The time is about to run out. He loses his rook as well. Aravind goes down. Grishuk takes the win.
Dirty flag?
Yes.
See, there we go. MVL, 6 out of 6, guys. That's a strong result for him.
Definitely. MBL, I don't think I've seen him win the title Tuesday in a while, actually. So, but he's very capable.
I'd like to watch an MVL game. I mean, he's top in the standing. It's about time we should actually follow one of his games, right?
I think he might be playing Hikaru. There we go.
Wow. Right. Big matchup.
Isn't that right on cue? I mean, just when we say we're going to be showing MVL, so just for you people back home, we were going to show him anyways. But hey, we get the beauty of a matchup.
Exactly. That's how it works when there's one leader and someone has to float up. Someone's half a point behind. It's always the one who's got the highest rating. Hikaru, 34-36.
That's crazy.
Which
is he on his highest?
I think he's close to his peak record.
Didn't Magnus have a little bit 34-45 or something like that?
Yeah, they've been trading the record. I think Hikaru beat his own record recently in the mid 3400s.
I think they went back and forth this summer and broke each other's records a few times.
I think these days Hikaru has like 100 points more, but I think if Magnus really tries, he can catch him. Here we have the Rouser variation of the Sicilian. It's a sharp opening.
Not MVL's favorite Najdorf, but very close.
Yeah. However, this one is a bit more positional.
It's interesting though, isn't it? I mean, sure, he's not among the youngest players anymore, but still from that youngish generation to be so locked into his opening repertoire. It's different.
Does anyone love the Najdorf more than MVL? That's the question.
Yeah, probably not. The Najdorf and the Grunfeld.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's loyal. That's the one thing. He's very, very loyal to the openings he loves.
Yeah, I think it was only like in 2021 he finally started to add some new openings. But he was just playing the Najdorf and Grunfeld consistently for like 20 years. Mm-hmm. Here we have a bit of a theoretical debate in this is called the Rouser opening. Like black goes this pawn move a5 here, which is a strong move, trying to create some play on the queen side. White activates the queen to c4. It looks like this has actually gone white's way. I don't know, like giving up the e6 pawn and taking with the pawn looks a bit suspicious to me.
Yeah.
Not sure how to follow up here with black.
It's a big weakness. White can later bring out the bishop to h3 maybe, or at least a very important piece will be tied down defending e6 for the rest of the game. There we go. He does play g3, bringing his bishop out to hit on the light squares. Hikaru loves the bishop pair. Okay, the knight retreat. He wants to hit a backward pawn at least.
Usually you go queen c8 in these positions, but I think he just mixed up. It was not in that position where he did it, because here it looks like white is in control. Knight c7 is a good move, probably the only way to defend the pawn on e6. But it's hard to find a plan with black.
Yeah, white's king looking pretty safe for now. Black's king not ideal in the corner.
Also, white has ideas of going bishop to b6, eliminating the knight on c7, and then you drop the pawn on e6. MVL stops that.
Stops it, but that's a bit of a clumsy move. Unless he can move his knight out the way, maybe.
Yeah.
My arrow is going funky. Knight move and then the rook slide.
Maybe knight b5 here.
Or a4.
Yeah, a4 is also a good move.
Yeah, but this does allow the rook to come into the game now. Next move.
I feel like MVL is good at coming back from like passive positions, and it's almost like he's enjoying these type of.
It's almost like he played it before.
Yeah. I mean, he's a master at being a bit passive and then countering in the middle of the game.
That is very true. MVL is known for defending worse positions really well.
Yeah.
Is very creative. Very often sacrifices material in bad positions, like objectively not doing well, but he's active and finds like resources. So in general, a very practical player.
MVL? I'm trying.
Magnus Carlsen is playing against Yasipenko on table 4. We have an Abdusantarov who is in trouble against Zhu. And then we have Sevian against Rasmus Svane on table 2.
The big names all rising to the top. This is a very odd position for the black rooks to be in, defending their central pawns.
Yeah, I was tempted to suggest knight d5 here, but it's probably not very good.
Just for the cameras.
Just for the memes.
Yeah, just for the memes.
I mean, we can agree upon, if we're going with names here, that the easiest one to pick up is Alexander Grinch-Grishuk.
Yes.
But the Grinch is now playing against Bortnik, so there's a big chance he might get flagged today.
Ooh. Someone's going to get flagged in that game. Bortnik probably the quicker on the mouse of the two players. Move ahead, much better against Grigory Oparin as well. But this is a very slow game so far. Hikaru's down on the clock, which isn't always the case.
Yeah, he took a while there to play the rook to f2, but I think it was a clever move, just protecting everything. Like the c2 pawn was hanging in some variations, so now, if it's white to move now, I think knight d5 is a strong move. So black moves away from that diagonal. Now maybe you can consider knight to b5 again. But yeah, it does go for that.
Yeah, the idea is if there is a knight trade, then the other black knight might find itself trapped. And therefore, MVL breaks out. He's so good at timing these breakouts normally, but is it too late? Much better for Hikaru Nakamura apparently now. Are there knight trades? The black pawn center is feeling a bit brittle right now, a bit loose.
c3, a very strong move.
Hitting the knight, and there would have been a pawn lost if the knight had moved.
Yeah, I think MVL is doing the right thing here, trying to just create a mess in the center, because as David pointed out, if the knight would go back, you would just drop the pawn. So you just have to try to sacrifice something. But it doesn't look like it's enough, though. Like White can take the pawn on e6 now, and he's 2 pawns up.
I feel like we dropped off more players than we're used to today. That the top matchups came a little bit earlier than what we've seen previously, and that could also be a sign that it's possible to get back from 1 point behind, like Magnus and some of the other players are.
Definitely. I mean, we're on track for a Magnus Hikaru round 11 special. We still have Grinchuk in the mix. We still have MVL. Even losing here, he'll still be right up there. Okay, he's trying to mix things now. That is the last chance probably to press the Chaos button to go for the White King. At least remind Hikaru that the Black Queen might be coming out. There's a knight nearby. Back rank mates. But it doesn't feel like it should be enough.
Maybe he's hoping for a dirty flag here against Hikaru.
Good call.
Yeah, it's not very often we see Hikaru down on the clock. It's almost always has more time than his opponent.
This looks very dangerous now for MVL.
Yeah, I think if MVL doesn't do anything in the next 2-3 moves, and Hikaru gets like 2 moves to stabilize, it's going to be over. So he has to maybe try something like a3 and just open up the White King.
Seems to be very interesting with Bortnik and Grishook as well here, where, as you would expect, Grishook has more time now, and you never know what's going to happen at the end.
That's always the way. Always swings in the last few seconds for Grishook. Okay, the bishop drops back. You can't take twice on this square, and with the Black Queen, because the White Bishop will jump out the way with a check, and the Black Queen would be lost. Instead, she swings. And yeah, he's just trying his best to keep control, Hikaru, but MVL's also trying his best to just complicate the matter. And the White King's not entirely comfortable yet. 1 minute. Oh, this is flagging territory soon. Maybe. If MVL can keep the tension. And oh, Hikaru makes a mistake for the first time in a long time. Suddenly, Hikaru is apparently worse.
Wow.
It was not easy to make a decision there, though.
Yeah. He's still 2 points
White's
up.
King is very open.
Okay, this is a golden opportunity for MVL. Can he keep the White King from running away to safety behind its own pawns? Oh, suddenly this is a 3-result game. Checks in the air. Checkmate in the air. Oh, he closes the door, cuts off the king. Watch out, some checks. This is super scary now for Hikaru. 54 seconds, he's panicking.
This is classic MVL, just holding on and fighting his way back into the game.
It's the French Revolution. He's just waiting and waiting, and eventually heads will fall. But no threats yet. Everything covered. So Hikaru pushes his pawn forward.
Yeah, maybe he's going to go rook to a8 now, creating... But you can play queen to d4 there, probably.
Okay, he hits queen. Oh, apparently it's a big blunder. What is the punishment? The bishop goes back.
Wait, what was the winning move there? Oh, bishop d4 was winning. Bishop d4 was winning there.
There was a cute tactic. The black bishop coming in and the black queen taking the bishop. If the white rook had moved, that would have been a game ender, but not easy with no time left on the clock.
This is so nerve-wracking. Both players down to 40 seconds. Okay.
Queen a1 would have got the queens off by force. Would have been winning for Hikaru any endgame queen trade.
I still think this is easier to play for MVL. Like if Hikaru makes a slight mistake, he can get mated. So with the time situation, MVL should be the favorite here.
And he can't spend 10 seconds right now, Hikaru.
He can't, but he does. 20 seconds. Still the queens are on the board. Okay, the position's repeating. Will they bail out? Hikaru says no. He doesn't want to play on. It's a draw. Wow.
Okay. I'm surprised by MVL's decision there. I think he could have played on with it was a very difficult position to play for white.
Yeah, but that means that Magnus Carlsen took yet another half point on these guys because he beat Yasipenko.
Okay, things are getting tight at the top now. Hikaru making a face because he's not happy. He was winning for most of that game. He was 2 pawns up, but he was actually in trouble. Lost for 1 move.
But I think he was quite happy he got away. I mean, 21 seconds against 33 is a pretty big time difference, also with the position kind of trending towards MVLL.
Wow.
Yeah, he could have easily lost there. I think you're happy to save the half point.
That means we have Zhu and MVL with 6.5 points here in the top, and a bunch of player from 3 to 16 with 6 points here. And there's a lot of good players here as well.
That is a big chasing pack. And yeah, Maxime Vacher-Legrave still in the joint lead.
I think we need to take a... Oh, it's Min Le against Magnus Carlsen.
Oh.
Yeah, I know Magnus has a lot of respect for Min Le. I played Min Le last year in the Olympiad, and I asked Magnus, like, what do you think about him? And he was just like, yeah, he's very good. Not
And that was what you got? You got nothing else?
I didn't get anything else.
Very encouraging.
It's like not play this, go there, do this, whatever, just he's good.
Yeah, I got scared and lost.
He does that, Magnus. He's not the best like motivational.
Yeah, it's very true. It happened to me once also against Anton Korobov. He just said the same thing and I lost. Should not ask.
And this is your Olympic teammate. Wow.
It's.
I mean, I think he's just trying to be objective, but it's probably not what you want to hear before the game.
True.
Can you imagine, like, if Magnus at one point decides to step down from playing so much, becomes a coach, and he has those kind of motivational approaches?
Good luck. You're going to need it.
I mean, I guess it's a good thing that when Kasparov decided to take on someone and actually teach them, who I may be wrong, but does seem to have quite the same objective approach as Magnus does at times, that it was someone like Magnus Carlsen who's able to take that in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tough love. I think they're both fans of the brutal honesty. And in the meantime, it's back to
the kid. Yeah, we just gonna say
King's Indian Defense strikes again. Magnus playing a more open variation now. It's the Fianchetto variation for white, with pawns being traded off in the center early. And yeah, these types of position are very, very well explored. Normally, black is a bit cramped. Objectively, maybe slightly worse, but there's some pressure on this diagonal. The white king is often a bit more open long term if Magnus gets that far.
I personally don't find it that easy to play these types of positions for white in blitz.
Mm-hmm.
Like, white is objectively better because they have more space. But at the same time, black is very solid, has jumping knights. So I think it's a good blitz opening for black. What do you think, David?
Yeah, I fully agree. Like, I've got a very good score with white in classical chess from these openings, but I've had some big playoff games, rapid blitz games, where it's just gone horribly wrong. I've been mated. So I fully agree. Fully agree with the statement there, as we see some fantastic puns come in from the chat.
Felisa Naviduda. I laughed. I'm sorry, I'm simple.
That's impressive. That is impressive. Felice Naviduda. And, okay.
I think Magnus would like that one.
Yeah, Magnus loves a good pun.
Oh, yeah.
A bit of wordplay. And it's the calm before the storm, these types of positions. It's always a bit of maneuvering. Like, white is trying to milk the space advantage, black is trying to set up some threats, set up some counterplay, but eventually it always explodes.
But Magnus down on the clock now, almost 1 minute.
Yeah, I feel like G5 is a bit of a committal decision.
Wow, G4.
G4. I mean, he had the same actually in the second game of the tournament as G5, G4 structure.
He realized he played G6 on move 3, and then he had to correct it by.
But you definitely cannot get away with anything against everything. I mean, against the Min Le is very dangerous. Let's see what Magnus is going to do here. It's a bit annoying for him that the pawn on C7 is hanging in a lot of variations. Like, you would want to activate the queen, but then keep an eye on the pawn at knight D7. Probably going to try to maneuver the knight to E5, which is a good square.
Yeah, that's almost an outpost, since the white pawns cannot challenge without en passant happening. But the knights are looking very strong for white as well right now. What next for Min Le? Does he try and trade off the dark squared bishops? Does he just centralize his rooks? There we go.
Yeah, that's a very logical move. Magnus plays knight to E5. Now Min Le can bring his rook to D1.
Ooh.
Plays queen E2.
Is he really thinking about taking this knight and just grabbing a pawn? That pawn does stick out a bit. Magnus defends it. The rook centralizes. It's all about those knights, though. It's like you said, Aryan, like this, I mean, this opening, this structure, normally if you get a knight to B5 while black has still got a pawn on C7, meaning they can't move C or D pawns, then it's just a bit uncomfortable for black.
Yeah, it's hard to find a plan for black. Magnus plays a4, but that's like a sign of not exactly being sure what to do. And Minle now maneuvering the knight to f5.
Looking strong.
Maybe knight back to c5 now. Plays a3. Oh, this is actually a clever move probably, because now there's some tactics happening. Like if you play pawn to b3, you can take the knight and jump with the knight to f3. The Minle doesn't allow that.
Ooh, he gets Magnus's dark squared bishop. That's normally the heart and soul of the King's Indian defense, especially with white's bishop on c3. It feels like long term on the dark squares, Magnus is going to be very weak. The white queen can come in a bit later as well.
Does Magnus have enough time to play this position?
It's borderline. I think this last move helped him. It's become a bit more forcing now.
Yeah, it's all about the bishop on g2. Magnus is banking on the fact that that bishop on g2 is just locked out of the game. And if that gets to activity, white was doing well, but that bishop is actually just very bad, pointing at its own pawn on e4. The knight on e5 is strong. The last couple of moves have definitely gone Magnus's way. It's so weird in Magnus's game, like it looks bad and then out of nowhere he suddenly has a good position. Like I don't know how he does it.
He's been watching MVL.
Yeah. Presence under the Nepomnia tree.
Oh wow.
You like that, huh, David? Howell.
You got me. Boy. That made me laugh a bit too much, more than I should admit. But yeah, Magnus has turned it around now and is much, much better. He's also a pawn up after Minle blundered the c4 pawn a few moves ago. And surprisingly, the knights are more than powerful enough to counter against the bishops. Magnus here even improves his rook.
Such a precise move.
Yeah, everything's covered, everything's protected, so he can get away with this. And there's no counters, and Minle has to move his queen away. He's going to be facing a position of pawn down and with a bad bishop against a very, very good knight. And
maybe he should sacrifice the queen.
Oof, do it. Move the bishop.
Yeah. At least try to create some mess. Because if you move the queen and black takes with the rook on e5, that's a horrible position for white. So tries to create some imbalance.
Yeah.
Again, the problem remains with the bishop on g2. If that bishop would be on f5, for instance, I think this would be decent position for white, but here it's just hard to play with only the bishop and the bishop on f6 and the rook on e2.
You really know Minle is in trouble when he starts twirling faster.
Yeah, and it gets faster and faster. You should see him twirl when he's got 5 seconds on the clock. The multitasking skills. But Magnus, in the meantime, he's fended off any checkmate ghosts, and he's going to evict the white bishop. He's going to start taking pawns in the near future. And this should be the beginning of the end. Yeah, the knight and queen just team up so well. Minle, I think he's shot his last shot.
Probably just going to take on a2.
There we go.
Tom here from Twitch really liked that rook to a5 move.
Yeah, that was classy. Classy stuff from Magnus. And also this last move, a clincher.
f5 here?
Yeah, there's going to be mating nets now woven around the white king. And it feels like the end. I still don't see a knockout blow.
Yeah, I think a knight is going to land on e3, and that's going to create some very dangerous threats.
Or maybe he'll just push the b-pawn.
Yeah.
White is stuck. Even 56 seconds should be enough here for Magnus Carlsen.
MVL wins again.
Oof.
Unstoppable.
Yeah. I'm a little unsure what happened in that game at the end, actually. We'll have to have a little bit of a look if we could get that towards the end, because it didn't seem like you ran out of time there. Oh, wait, no. It was just a position.
Looks like there was a bit of a breakthrough for MVL just before the end. But, in the meantime, Magnus has closed the door. There's going to be all sorts of checks and checkmates soon. Just blocks the white pawns first of all, doesn't need to change the status quo. There's some checks at the bottom of the board, there's diagonal checks which look quite effective in these types of positions. And the b-pawn is running. You can start pushing it. 3 squares from touchdown. Ooh, Magnus. No, he didn't miss this move.
You can actually just take on g3 here. The king finds a safe home on h5, and black has mating threats. But there's many ways.
Hikaru with his 3rd draw in a row.
Oof.
And that's surprising. But I mean, we're talking single-digit amount of games in this format that actually ends up in draws.
Yeah, I mean, Christmas is a time for sharing. So those draws, sharing, carrying, and Min Lei, so angry at himself, resigns. But it was a lost position at the end. It was just the earlier moves that he was annoyed about.
Oh, look at this finish. It's
wow.
Good on time here for good in it's made in 5. Is there any swindle from Bortnik at the end here?
This is a very depressing position for
Well, I mean, the problem is he could have swindled until he's the one running out on time, right?
Yeah, there's no time.
He's just getting mated here. It's a strong win by Barhat, who we saw lost to Magnus earlier.
That leaves us with 3 players with 7. It's Dura, it's Magnus, and it's Sydepov. And then MVL, the lone leader, guys.
Mm-hmm. The Frenchman on top. Bortnik, there's definitely a pun there. Saint Nick, Christmas. Sorry.
Yeah, I feel like there's something with Yesipenko as well. I just haven't found it properly.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. We need your help at home, everyone.
Well, that means that leads us into the break. We've played 8 rounds. We have 3 left, and it's funny how this is happening now, Aryan. I mean, in the past, you didn't very often see the early losses from the people who's competing at the end. Magnus has had it last week. He won the tournament anyways. It seems like it's more possible to get back than it felt like it was in the past.
You know, it's interesting with Magnus because it was some statistics done on Magnus's performance after losing a game in his career. And I think it was like 3,000 performance. Like whenever Magnus loses a game, the next day he's just unstoppable.
And we're also talking now over the board.
Yeah, yeah, he's so good at like taking that, like changing that energy into something positive that makes him like super strong the day after. Most of us tilt and we get depressed when we lose and usually do bad the day after. But with Magnus, he has a very, very strong mentality to recover from losses.
Yeah, maybe it is still possible to get to 2,900 for Magnus Carlsen. We just have to play different kind of board games and stuff with him the night before he goes into battle, right? Make sure that he finishes on a loss.
And we need more 2,800 players. I think that would make it easier for him.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy at the end there when he was trying to go for 2,900 because as he was trying to break that record, or I mean, he ended up being a bit far away that attempt, but still, there was no one to build rating against anymore.
Exactly. He should have played a 10-game match against me and just...
He got to 2882 or something?
2889 actually, unofficially, but that was in 2014.
Yeah.
Well, in 2019 he got to 2882.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I speaking of just putting up different kind of games like that, I had a bit of a dream that Magnus, at one point before New Year's, was gonna get all these rated classical games just to scare Hikaru Nakamura before the candidates tournament, just to really try to get enough rated games that he would have been eligible. Not saying that he would have joined the candidates, just to scare him a little. Like,
it would be a really good troll.
Yeah, I mean, if you suddenly started playing like Norwegian League matches and playing against your friends for rated matches, stuff like that, it would be such a great troll, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, actually, Magnus is the guy who could have done something that just to troll as well. But
good dad joke.
He's also a family man these days, so he doesn't have unlimited time, I think.
Yeah, because you would have to qualify for the FIDE rules of a rated game, which, quite honestly, it does take some time, right?
Yeah, it takes a while. It takes a grind, it takes some energy, and yeah, if anyone was going to troll, it would be Magnus. But as Aryan says, with a family, with kids, yeah, life gets in the way sometimes.
But I guess we can say now, even though we're going into the World Rapid and Blitz Championship, at least we now pretty much have the candidates set. Nothing crazy can happen. Hikaru will play the candidates. It's not going to be a Magnus suddenly deciding to play a million games and getting in. What do we think about the candidates? Are we excited?
I'm super excited always for the candidates. I mean, the next candidates is going to see a lower rating average than the last one, but I think all of them are super strong. Like I say, Yesipenko is someone that is very capable of playing the top guys, and Bluebaum.
Bluebaum has done really well in these Tuesdays. I mean, it does seem like he's someone that can create some trouble.
Yeah, I mean, he has a very solid positional style, and I think in the candidates we're going to see people taking risks against him, and that can sort of backfire. That's also how he qualified from the Grand Swiss. He's going to get chances. But I mean, if I have to put my money on someone, it would be on Fabi. I think he's generally been a consistent number 2 after Magnus.
Yeah. That sounds like the logical thing for someone who also works with Caruana to say.
Yeah.
Trying to get a job as a second.
Makes sense.
But I like it. I like that you're being diplomatic here, Aryan, because that's the only way to approach it. But we have to agree with you as well. I mean, Fabiano is the favorite now, isn't he?
Yeah, it's hard to look past Fabiano. Of course, Hikaru was quite close last time as well, and it feels like this might be the last big push for Hikaru, the candidates. So I don't know. I'm not going to write him off. It's just if you write Hikaru off, he'll win it.
Yeah, I'm also not writing him off, but I just feel like he hasn't played enough chess these days. Like he hasn't played any classical chess almost, so it's hard to imagine like what kind of form he will be in. But of course, he's going to be so motivated and work very, very hard for the tournament. So
the 2 on paper favorites are the 2 favorites in your opinion?
I would say so. Yeah, 2 Americans.
I wouldn't necessarily say that Hikaru is like a bigger favorite than someone like Krogh, but because they've been more active. But Fabi is, I would say, a slightly bigger favorite than anyone else.
Okay, I'm going to switch the question. World Rapid and Blitz, who wins Rapid?
Oh, that's tough. I don't think it's going to be Magnus. I don't know. I have a feeling. I'll say it's Vincent Keimer, maybe.
Ooh, I like it. Tricky. I mean, speaking of people who are improving in faster time formats, he's not only getting better in classical chess, he has gotten much, much better in the faster formats.
Yeah, he was quite close a few years ago in the World Rapid and Blitz to winning. He won, I think, a bronze medal, but could have been more. In the Blitz, I think Hans Niemann might have a shot.
Okay, Rapid, Aryan?
Rapids. I'm gonna say Magnus, also because it is 19 rounds this year, while last year.
We got to be quick because we're starting.
So last year it was 13. With 19 rounds, I think Magnus has enough rounds. Even if he messes up, he can come back.
And Blitz?
Blitz. Such a boring answer. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say Magnus again.
I think Sindoro will win the Rapid, and
that was going to be my guy.
Win the Blitz.
You can still say it.
I was actually going to say Sindoro from Magnus. I feel like you kind of took it away from me here, but I mean, we got to go with in-form players. But right, speaking about in-form, this man never goes out of form. Magnus Carlsen. That's I liked it. I'm going to stick with it.
Exactly.
Against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave.
And of course, we have the Grunfeld.
Grunfeld. No more King's Indian nonsense. It's the Grunfeld defense, one of his childhood loves, MVL. He's been playing it for many years.
Yeah, I would say MVL is the top player with the most experience. And in the Grunfeld, of course, MVL and Svidler also a Grunfeld expert, but he also plays other openings. So
and Nepo back in the day before he switched to Queen's Gambit declined.
Yeah, this line that Magnus is playing right now was very trendy back in 2019. There was I remember that Norway chess in 2019 we saw like this Bishop E3 Grunfeld in almost every game with a lot of success for White. Magnus won against Grishuk and also someone else I think, but. These days, it's kind of been more worked out with the engine that Black is doing fine. But Magnus inviting for a queen trade.
Yeah. It's a shame we don't see him here because one of the best. I actually just checked some of the comments here and I saw one that I really liked, but he's not here right now. Wesley Snow.
Wesley Snow, the classic, the classic. And yeah, it's a pity he's not at the World Rapid and Blitz either. He never really plays that event as it clashes with Christmas, and he prefers to spend it with family. MVL keeps the queens on, and I've seen him lose a lot of games in the Grunfeld against Magnus with the queens off the board. Yeah. So it kind of makes sense.
But I think Wesley is playing this. I'm pretty sure I saw his name.
I mean, he's a very good Rapid player.
I just meant he's not in the top right now for this title Tuesday.
Yeah, he's not playing this title Tuesday, but he's surprisingly playing this year's World Rapid and Blitz. He usually doesn't play, that's true. He played in New York, but he didn't.
But I've spoken to Wesley a lot about this, and for him, it also has so much to do with family Christmas time. I mean, his faith is so important to him, and to be able to spend it. And he's been struggling a bit with the hard travel paths to where the World Rapid and Blitz has been. For him to lose so much in travel time and time difference, and then lose out on what is a very important Christmas time for him and his family.
True. It's been in some far-flung places, these World Rapid and Blitz events. And yeah, we, of course, can't blame them. Myself, I'm not playing. Aryan's not playing. I guess we can't fault players for not making the journey out there.
Yeah, Aryan, why are you not playing?
I actually have to go to Chicago. I have to be there like 1st of January to play another event there, and to travel to Doha with the jet lag and then travel back, it's just was too much to adjust. But it feels it's a bit sad to miss out. Of course, I've played every year almost since like 2017, 2018. But this year I'm not playing.
And I mean, you're playing a lot of chess these days, which is more than we can say for you, David, who's not playing as much as you should. So I just encourage the chat to do the same that I do. Try to convince David Howell to play more chess so that we can get him in the World Rapid and Blitz soon as well. No pressure.
No pressure. Hit me up. Slide in those DMs. Force me. One day I'll play more.
Slide into those DMs. I like that.
In the meantime, we see some fantastic play on the board, mostly by Magnus Carlsen, and some fantastic puns from our chat. Arjun Merrigeis.
That was better than my Hikaru Nakameri.
And Magnus here in the meantime, we weren't talking so much about the game because not too much was happening, but I think MVL might have rushed a bit the exchange in the center because now the white bishop is just going to slide back and inevitably, slowly but surely, the white pawns are going to start storming forward. Magnus has 2 central pawns and a bishop pair to back them up. It's looking very, very difficult for Maxime right now. The only question is whether Magnus punches through immediately with those pawns or whether he waits.
Yeah, because you guys were talking about these silent positions that MVL does well with, but this is something completely different now for him.
Yeah, but it's so typical MVL that if Magnus plays e5 here, like MVL would just sacrifice, and objectively it's not good, but he's very, very dangerous with some activity and some hidden resources here and there. But so far, this is looking very good for Magnus.
Yeah, and it's a completely different game compared to MVL's game against Hikaru, where he actually had some attacking chances. Hikaru's king was very weak towards the end of the middle game, but here I can't really see any interesting opportunities for MVL to create counterplay.
MVL was setting up a sneaky tactic there with bishop to h6, stopping white from pushing the pawn. Magnus cleverly put the queen on f2, defending the bishop on e3, and now he's not really getting the e5 break, it seems, but instead he has shifted his focus on the g file, which has opened up.
I enjoy my dry humor. I enjoy the comment that just came in that who could have possibly predicted that Magnus Carlsen would be ready for MVL playing the Greenfeld. That's amazing. I like dry humor.
Yeah, who could have thought it? And there we go. Who could have thought that Maxime Vachiligorov would sacrifice a piece? Aryan, prediction game on point. He's got 1 pawn for it, though. Shouldn't be enough.
But I do feel in history when MVL and Magnus have played that Magnus has never been afraid to go straight into MVL's fortes. I mean, he's always taken him head on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Many people kind of duck the challenge, but Magnus says, okay, mainline Grunfeld, I know as much as you. Let's go Najdorf, and I'll try and outplay you there. It's like a point of pride to beat them at their best.
Yeah, Magnus is someone who has a very, very good score against MVL. I feel like the last 6-7 years he's had some very convincing wins.
And this was extremely convincing as well.
Yeah, this was very convincing from start to finish, actually.
Yeah.
Good win by Magnus, who is now on 8 out of 9, looking very good.
On a winning streak. MVL just after the opening, maybe he should have traded queens off. Going passive with his queen gave Magnus the time he needed to build a center. And talking of building a center, it's black here. Ashraf, the young FM, who's got a nice pawn center and maybe a small advantage against Hikaru.
But this is an extremely impressive score by Ashraf.
He's one of those Iranian talents who's really, really good at Blitz. I've seen him online. It's very impressive. Here, it looks like white can maybe take the pawn on h6. Hikaru is calculating it.
17 years old, this young FM.
Pawn sacrifice, though.
Black can bring the bishop to f4, but the queen is not trapped. It can go to h4. And it seems to me that white is a healthy pawn up here.
You know more about this than we do, Aryan. How easy or difficult is it for these young Iranians to get out and get their GM nods and things like that? Is that difficult these days?
It's far from easy, I would say. Like the most challenging thing is that the economy in Iran has been very bad for many years. So it's very expensive for these players to fly to Europe and play international tournaments and try to play for norms. So.
Yeah, you see a lot of players having the rating, but just not getting the norms.
Yeah, a lot of these players, you see them do so well in Title Tuesdays, and they're very, very talented, but they just don't have, they don't really get the opportunities to fly to tournaments and show themselves. So a lot of them are underrated, but I think the Iran Olympiad team has gotten better and better the last few years, and I think in 5-10 years, they're gonna be in the top.
Yeah, and the Olympiads itself is an important tournament then to when you actually get to travel with the team out. And
yeah, I mean they lost Alireza, but even without Alireza, they're very, very strong.
Yeah,
so
it's amazing. And they're so young as well.
Yeah, chess is very popular in Iran. I mean, I've been there many times visiting, and it's a lot of respect for chess.
Ooh, in the meantime, it's gone wrong for Hikaru. He had to give up his extra pawn, so now it's level material. He needed to do that just to get his queen out. But Black is the one with the passed D pawn that could start marching in the near future. Black is the one with the better coordination of pieces.
Does he have enough time, though?
Oh, that's the big question. 30 seconds against Hikaru.
And it's taking too long.
Dirty flag incoming.
Dirty flag, exactly.
I'm going to object to the dirty flag. I'm just going to call it flag. Guys,
Yeah.
we're done with the dirty flag. And this is Title Tuesday, and Title Tuesday has evolved into a different beast.
Exactly. It's a matter of perspective. And it's not against the rules. It's part and parcel of the game. As Hikaru well knows. He keeps the time. He's happy to play kind of suboptimal moves occasionally.
Yeah.
Save a bit of time on the clock. And now 22 seconds. You've got to think it's hanging in the balance now. Ashraf needs to do it here and now.
Oh, he unfortunately blunders the knight there with low time, but he was playing such a good game, Ashraf. He was
impressive.
But unfortunately, it's not enough with the time. Hikaru gets the win.
And big smile from Hikaru Nakamura as he does steal the point due to the clock mainly. But to Ashraf, yeah, that blunder with the knight, so easy to make. Here it's Duda against Sidipov, as it looks like Duda is a pawn up, but allows a perpetual check. Maybe could have played on somehow. Sidipov, great result for him. Shake of the head, but it feels like nobody's happy at this point to drop anything, given those half points.
Sidipov is...
But look at this list, guys.
Ooh.
He lost in round 4, Magnus Carlsen. He's now, at the moment, in sole lead with 8 points. It's amazing how he keeps fighting back from these situations.
Is it Magnus Hikaru? Is it that time of the day?
Of course it's that. I mean, he's played Yesipenko, he's played MVL. Maybe the black-white differentiator can lead up to a Duda matchup, but if the black and white pieces mix, it's going to be Hikaru against Magnus.
El Clasico.
El Clasico.
El Christmas, though. No. Magnus.
Christmas showdown.
Exactly.
Well, we still have move ahead against Tari here. Speaking about Iranian talent, how good is move ahead going to be, do you think, Aryan?
I mean, many people were telling me that he's like the new Alireza already like two years ago, but honestly, I think it's all about the opportunities. I think he's super talented, but if he has the support and he can has a coach and like travel abroad and play tournaments, he can be very, very good. But we'll see. Time will tell.
Thou ask and thou shall receive. Magnus Carlsen against Hikaru Nakamura.
Hikaru Rudolph Nakamura. E4 is the first move from Magnus. He's not messing around anymore. We'll learn a lot from the opening here. Does Magnus want to play it a bit safer? Does he want to take a risk? He can go all out. He's playing the 4 knights. That normally means a slightly more level game. Hikaru plays a move that he actually faced just a couple of days ago. Fabiano Caruana played this very move against him in India at the Global Chess League.
But Magnus looks like he's trying to remember.
Hikaru likes to play this knight takes e4 in this variation. He's played it against me before. I think last year he played it against me. It's a funny move, but it is fine for black. Like you can take back the piece, but then black brings his queen out and pins the knight.
But look at the differences in face here. Hikaru is laughing about it, and Magnus is like, "Oh, what was this again?"
Yeah, this is exactly how my game was against Hikaru. Like black takes the knight and white brings the bishop out with check. Eventually, we get a equal endgame where both sides have 6 pawns each.
But it's very drawish though.
Yeah, I mean in general this variation is very drawish, and I think Magnus wants to play it solid here, given that he's has a half-point lead.
I mean, we know that Hikaru, if he gets the chance with black pieces against Magnus, I mean, it doesn't matter to him that he's half-point behind. He takes a draw.
Yeah, I think it's just his strategy. Like he makes a draw, wins the last round, he gets 9.5 points.
But is that one of the aspects where we feel that Hikaru throws away some tournament wins in his very pragmatic approach?
Historically, yes, I would say. And that's maybe why he's not beaten Magnus on a consistent basis in many big finals, many big matches, because it feels like he's doing the chasing or he's the one who's kind of allowing Magnus to dictate. But
we know that Magnus would not choose to do this in the same situation as him. I mean, if Magnus had 7.5 points and Hikaru had 8, we would never see the opposite type of approach because Magnus is so aware of table standings.
Yeah. But
but at the same time, nobody's gonna ever get the respect that Magnus gets from the other players, given his status, right?
True, but I just feel as though, I mean, sure, Hikaru is one of the players who actually do table understanding to a different degree, but takes players like, for example, Wesley So, who is so good at playing chess, but doesn't necessarily have the group standing type awareness.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Magnus specifically said about Wesley So that he's someone that was like very close to him at some point, but he just didn't go for the chances against Magnus. He was shying away from complications and playing super solid. So yeah, it is the case that sometimes his rivals can have too much respect.
And
here,
strategy works against 99% of opponents. It's just Magnus who can punish and kind of take a lead and run with it. Even if he doesn't punish Hikaru in this one game, like often law of averages, like he just scores higher.
Yeah, and also that background that Magnus is just as interested in the sporting aspect of chess as the chess aspect itself.
Ooh, tactics on this board finally, as we saw a deflection tactic, Magnus taking a pawn. If the black king had taken, then the bishop in the center would have been lost. So Magnus has grabbed a pawn, but Hikaru's rook is about to get very active after a trade of bishops. I'm not sure whether you take the bishop now or whether you give a check first, but
the play starts to get concrete here. Hikaru is probably going to trade bishops. He does it the other way, and then captures on g2. I mean, the evaluation of the game has still not changed. Like Magnus is not in any danger here. He can try to double rooks, and he has a very healthy position. If anyone, I would still take white here.
Double rooks on the e-file. At some point, you can even come and take this pawn, and probably the whole king side at some point disappears. Should be a draw with best play. But of course, there's still life left. There's still a ticking clock. I saw earlier in the chat at the top, the battle of the super dads. But who will be Father Christmas at the end of this tournament?
You have some such strong ones today, David. I really appreciate them.
Impressive stuff.
We've been talking to Aryan Tari here a little bit about Iranian chess and how it's doing right now, but we see that Magsudlo is always up there, and he now has a draw to move to 8 out of 10 points. It's flooded with Iranians.
Yeah, Magsudlo has been Iran's top player ever since Alireza switched federations to France back in 2019. It
was a tough freestyle for him, though.
Yeah, that was it's painful to lose 10 games in a row. Farham is such a strong player. It shows that tilt is for everyone.
Except Magnus, as we said, who tends to strike back better than most.
Yeah, you can beat Magnus once, but not twice in a row. And he's trying to get the bishops off here. This really should be a draw now. I'm expecting a bishop exchange, and black can come and take some of the pawns back.
No dirty flagging.
Ooh, 6 seconds in it. Maybe if Hikaru can keep an extra pawn. I don't think he can here. We'll see everything traded off now, and the white rook go behind. If he could keep an extra pawn, Hikaru, then maybe. But no, it's level material now. If anything, it's Hikaru has to be careful. Maybe Magnus will go for the dirty flag. He did it against Krogh from an even worse position.
Hikaru seems disappointed. It's just like he thinks that he could have done it easier than this. Well, now he has to play some precise moves. Like the pawn on a7 is hanging for now, and if you move it, white can maybe try to activate the king.
Yeah, the white king was coming, so the king is cut off. But now Hikaru has to defend.
It's not that easy.
No, this is flagging territory. Like, Magnus can play this on for at least another 50 plus moves.
And Magnus is definitely going to try hard to win here. I mean, if not for the position, like just he has a 30 seconds advantage on the clock.
Oh. This is also, yeah, this is difficult. Like even trading off the pawns, the black king is cut off across the board now, cannot retreat in front of the white pawns. So Hikaru actually goes for it with his own pawn, leaving white with 2 connected passes.
Can you go c3 now?
Yeah, c3, the white king would have stepped back. That was also an interesting idea, but he's keeping that up his sleeve. Hikaru. Magnus moves his rook away.
You're going to start to give checks now,
Yeah.
Hikaru.
Some checks.
Was that maybe Magnus something he missed?
It must be, right?
But why didn't he could just have given checks there? I didn't see how Magnus could get away from them.
Yeah, as soon as the white king walks up the board, then you take.
Yeah.
Yeah, this should still be a draw, though. Hikaru's pawn is so strong right now. Yeah, I think Magnus maybe missed a small opportunity somewhere to at least keep the game going a bit longer. Probably always was a draw. Great defense from Hikaru. And now the question is whether Magnus repeats by giving some checks. If not, then he might find himself in a bit of danger. He goes back. He smiles, plays on. He wants to risk it. He wants to give a check to the black king, then come back with his own king. Now the black king is cut off, but not for long. Now we'll see the black king move on over. This is about how ruthless Magnus is feeling, how merciless. It's a dead drawn position.
He's smiling.
The worst one.
The B pawn is kind of the worst pawn you can have, actually.
It's the Philidor position as well, so anywhere on the line it would be a draw. But
C pawn is a bit more tricky, but here there's no tricks. I think if Hikaru had like 25 seconds, it's very possible, but with 49 seconds, it's...
Do you think Hikaru just gets annoyed by this?
Not anymore. Just for a few seconds there.
I mean, Hikaru would do exactly the same thing.
There's 2 players now with 8.5 points. The problem for Magnus is that he has already played against the other player with 8.5, because that's MVL. So he's not going to be able to control his own fate in the final game, because MVL is most likely going to take that with a win, because he's better right now on tiebreakers.
Ooh, so Magnus may be in a must-win situation in the last round. This is a fascinating position. Duda seems to be winning. He's up a pawn with very active pieces, but his king is somewhat caught in a mating net. If he's not careful, there might be some knight checks later if the black rook ever moves away. There might be some pawn checks. For now, there's one safe square. Ooh, careful. Someone's getting mated here. Just not sure who.
By the way, did MVL play Hikaru?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're not getting that one either.
That was the draw that was a bit topsy-turvy. Bit of a roller coaster. Duda's done the hard work, though most of it. He was up 2 pawns, but maybe he's let one of them go now. It's a sneaky move from Tari. The e6 pawn is hard to defend.
Yeah, it's tricky. Like, if you save the e6 pawn by playing e5, white would take it and attack it again, and couldn't really defend it.
Oh, now it's becoming a flagging battle, and Tari is very, very fast. Can Duda keep up? He's got a good position.
96?
Win, though. He's lost his advantage, Duda. 9 seconds versus 9 seconds.
Tari might win this.
Yeah. Tari, wow, against all odds. It's easier to play with a knight as well.
Yeah.
Like your knight can go to light squares, dark squares. Black's bishop is stuck. 5 seconds against 5 seconds. The position's repeating. It should be a draw with best play. But the clock is going to decide it.
Tari has more time.
There's no way Duda can hold this, is
2
there?
seconds versus
1 second. Oh, wow, he's
second.
ahead now.
1 second. Oh, it's a blunder. The white rook's gone, and Tari loses on time.
So close.
Tari just looked like he was confused with that loss of a piece at the end there. So time ran out, and Duda managed to hold on, and that means we now have 5 players on 8.5 points.
Wow.
Magnus actually has a better tiebreaker than I would have thought imaginable, having lost as early as round 4. Tidipov also lost very early here. Duda, MVL ahead. It's probably going to be Duda against MVL then. And the winner there is most likely to take this title Tuesday.
Yeah, so it seems like Magnus is going to get a easier pairing in the last round than MVL. Which is
probably Tsiripov, I would guess, based on him having played all the other players on top here, and MVL and Duda not having played each other. That seems like the likely outcome, right?
Yeah, which is, I mean, Tsiripov is of course very strong, but it's someone Magnus would hope to play in the last round.
Yeah, but still, I mean, based on the fact that they are ahead now by a tiebreaker, they're facing each other, so they're playing a very good player. It does seem very likely that the winner is the winner of MVL against Duda, but we should never underestimate the impact that other games have. And here we see Magnus against Duda and MVL against Chidipov.
Ooh, on paper,
that is great for Magnus because it actually gives him a chance if Chidipov can do the job on the other table.
Exactly. Good news on paper as well for MVL.
Yeah.
Now he's white against Chidipov and a win with his tiebreaks.
That's a good pairing for MVL.
Very good pairing for MVL. He's white too, so
he'll be happy.
So a few players potentially with their fate still in their own hands, but especially Maxime Vachier-Lagrave.
Magnus has to take big risks in this game. Plays the Rosolimo variation in the Sicilian.
But with this time format, do you need to take as big of a risk? I mean, aren't most games decided anyways, in a sense?
Well, like we saw in the last game with Magnus and Hikaru, the position was too dry, so it was easy to play fast. Well, if you go for something complicated, you're more likely to get a decisive result. Like in this one, it's not as balanced as the other position. And this is a theoretical position, like white can take the knight, or he can play queen to e2. I think both sides are familiar with this position.
Yeah, I've seen Magnus play this many times before, with both colors actually. So interesting that they go into this. The fans not wanting Magnus to give any free gifts, even for Christmas. No presents here. Can Duda, we're spending a lot of time in the opening. Can he cause an upset? Can he take Title Tuesday this week?
Just Magnus is creating a sneaky threat here of taking that pawn on e5.
Yeah.
Bishop is unprotected on b5, so Duda has to take some care.
We talked about how well the Iranians play in Title Tuesday, but I mean the Poles. Poland has turned out to be, or it has always been, but the young players come from Poland now. There's so many strong chess players coming up.
Yeah, we have, except for Duda, we have this kid Gulumars, is a very strong player.
And I think it's just the number of Polish players. They're so loyal to Title Tuesday. They play every single week without fail. And they often have at least 2 or 3 standout performers. Duda's normally at the top, but then there's always a bunch fighting for the next spots for Poland. In the meantime, Magnus has the bishop pair, but Duda has a bit more space in the center with these pawns. And Black's bishop on g7 especially is not so impressive. So short-term Duda, pretty happy.
Very important for the general standings in the win here. It's a good start for MVL against his opponent. So he's got about plus 1.7 on the eval. He's looking good.
It was a Karakan. He didn't play the alien gambit. How dare he? Maxime Vachier-Lagrave.
Destroyer of Karakan.
Brilliant.
For those wondering what we're talking about, we've been having our streamer Witty Alien, who's been doing the talk from the Take studio, doing the alien gambit with any chance he gets.
How is he doing in the tournament?
I do believe we have not seen him in the top half here for some time, but we will check that for you, Aryan.
Meanwhile, the structure of this position has changed a bit. Like Magnus traded on c3, and he has a.
He's 50%.
Okay,
5 out of 10.
That's a respectable score.
Yeah, he's beaten FMs, CMs.
But the most important when it comes to Witty Alien, he had 1 game with 3 brilliants. And that's what he's aiming for. He wants as many brilliant moves as possible in 1 game.
So he will sleep well tonight.
I believe so.
And in the meantime, yeah, the knight versus bishop, like both of these 2 pieces are strong.
Yeah, but Black doesn't have any real weaknesses here, so I don't think Magnus is too unhappy. However, White's position is also stable. But Magnus is going to try to play the long game here, maybe try to keep a bit more time on the clock and just try to keep the two bishops.
Yeah, it's all about keeping the tension, as you say, like slow improvements. I'm not sure. I was going to say King G7 is such a Magnus move. He beat me to it.
Yeah.
And then eventually H5, H4, if white isn't able to strike with H4, eventually maybe some exchanges. Ooh, it looks like big developments on board 2. MVL with a huge advantage now. Extra pawn in that Karo Khan. This game much more level.
Duda sacrifices a pawn with bishop to G3. Magnus can take the knight on C5. However, we do get opposite colored bishops in that case, which generally is drawish. So I think Magnus is just gonna bring his bishop back to F8.
Ooh.
Decides to take the pawn.
Wow.
Just got to add this, though, even though it's unlikely, even though MVL and Magnus, if they should both win, there could be other results of the players that they faced in the past going one way or another that could decide that suddenly could say that Magnus passes MVL on the head-to-head standings, the tiebreaker. So nothing is certain.
Yeah, Magnus will be cheering on all of his previous opponents if that's the case. But MVL looks to be doing his side of the bargain so far. Magnus pawn up, but I do really like the white bishop once it lands on D4.
D4 is a key square for the white bishop. And the problem for black is that the pawn on B7 and A6 is fixed. The pawn on A5 does an excellent job sort of stopping black's extra pawn from advancing.
Actually, I was told now in the chat that I made a mistake earlier. It wasn't 3 brilliant moves in that game from where it was 4.
Oof.
Wow.
Big difference there.
Impressive.
The more the merrier. 4. Wait, was it? It's not 4 turtle doves, that's 2. 3 French hens. 4.
Magnus really needs some magic in this game. It's looking really, really solid for Duda. But if he can sort of like keep the game going and get Duda low on the clock, there's possibilities. But white has such a stable position.
Feels like there've been a lot of draws this week in Title Tuesday. Hikaru's had 4 draws. And Magnus has had one now. Trying to get his queen in. The problem is all queen trades just lead to a draw. An easy fortress for Duda where you can pre-move pretty much till the end of the game. So Magnus has to keep the white queen out. He does that, but now queen trade offered, and he has to dodge. Does the white queen come in, or does white just defend his pawn with his bishop?
I mean, you can even play G4 here with white if you want to, because you cannot take the pawn on A5, because the white queen would get into E8.
Now attacking the black backward pawn. Now G4 not advisable because the black queen could have come in, but Duda insisting on a queen exchange. He's being very, very irritating there for Magnus. MVL has won, it's confirmed. He moves on to 9.5 points. Can anyone catch him?
I mean, right now, the most likely candidate to catch him is actually not Magnus, it's Duda. I mean, even though Duda has a very, very equal position here, I don't think the tiebreaker for Magnus would be enough even with a win, but I do believe that if Duda wins here, the tiebreaker will probably push him ahead.
Looking very good. For MVL right now, slightly better suddenly for Duda in that position.
But could we also get some very aggressive moves from Magnus here leading to a bigger likelihood that Duda can pull this off?
I think it is more likely that Duda wins here because black's king is in more danger because of the bishop on d4. The bishop on d4 is much stronger than the bishop on c6. So, but Magnus is trying to just like keep the game going and press on Duda's time.
Yeah, time will be a factor now. Yeah. They're getting low on time, and I think we'll see a dirty flag at some point.
At least an attempt.
For sure.
Oh, Magnus has blundered though.
No.
He's walked into a mating net. He's walked into a mating net. He's going to lose his queen. Magnus Carlsen has blundered horribly, and Duda takes the win. The black queen blocking would have been met by a deflection, a pawn check. That was, wow, shocking to say the least.
That was a proper Christmas gift for Duda.
Christmas came early.
Yeah, very unfortunate finish for Magnus. He had to try something though, like draw was not enough.
And this is going to be interesting for the final standings right now. Duda or MVL, it depends on how all their former opponents have done in their games to set the tiebreaker.
Oh,
right now, let's not say it's certain, because right now it's Duda leading against MVL, but there could be other games that may change this. We know that Hikaru played at least against MVL. I don't remember if he played against Duda.
Didn't play Duda.
Didn't play Duda, so that is something that goes to help MVL in his tie-breaking. And all these results really do matter at the end here. So right now, as we see, it was MVL pushing past based on that Hikaru score.
Oh, wow. And there's still some games going, so it is that
Oh,
close.
and Duda is back on top.
Duda's back on top. One of his former opponents has won.
Nothing is decided.
Yeah, Theodora against Grishuk. Who played whom amongst those?
Oh, just doing a
So
quick
Demchenko against Minle, maybe one of them played against Minle.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is not over. Yes, we know Yesipenko was up there. He could also be causing some problems.
Theodora played Vache Legrave.
Okay, so if Theodora can win, how's that game looking?
It's looking dead drawn, but Grishuk has only 7 seconds. Oh, Grishuk is going to get flagged second week in a row.
Are they flagging Grishuk? Can actually Theodora take the win for MVL by flagging Grishuk?
It's such a dead draw, opposite color bishops with no progress. You can't lose that in a million years. Look at this. But Grishuk again, 4 seconds.
Look at the dirty Greek.
This could decide it all for MVL.
But he has to move the bishop at some point, otherwise it might be some threefold.
There it is, 1.2, 1.0, 1.8, 0.6.
Oh.
And it's 0, it's a win. And how does that not change?
Oh.
Not change. Duda stays on top. It wasn't enough to push the bar.
Not quite enough. And oh my God, they were literally moves away from the 50 move rule there. That was
so close.
heartbreaking.
How much
for
do you
Grishuk.
think Alexander Grishuk likes this format now, guys?
I mean, I don't know him personally. I don't know how he takes it, but it's. I don't think he's too happy.
but it is one of those things. I mean, we know that Sasha Grishuk, he is the kind of guy who will leave himself short of time. He's known to get out of those situations because he's so good when it's short on time. There's no increments, though.
No, I mean, it's a tough format. When you get low on time, there's no mercy, and I think it's part of the game. You just need to have a good speed throughout the game, and yeah, I mean, he knows what he's getting himself into, so he needs to work on the time management.
And he keeps coming back every Tuesday, so it's clearly not getting him down too much. And if he keeps performing consistently well, Grishuk, he'll get a chance at some point to win one of these events.
For sure, yeah.
Listen, guys, I just now went in and checked the active games at the end here. As we can imagine, there's no more active games, which means Jan Krzysztof Duda, he wins game week 4.
Wow, in pole place, the Polish Grandmaster. Feliz Naviduda.
Feliz Naviduda beating the Frenchman on the goal line here at the end. And just to add to the excitement, we saw it. We saw the game that pushed MVL ahead. Then there was another one that pushed Duda back into it. And that's how it is. If you don't have 10 points here, you usually have to depend upon tiebreakers.
I mean, this is what makes this tournament so exciting. You don't know until the last game who's going to win. And here we saw the Magnus. We thought first like Magnus has to win to catch MVL, but no, then suddenly Duda won the tournament.
I think it'll be safe to say that next week we're going to be more focused towards the World Rapid and Blitz. It's going to be... It's one of the highlights of the year, isn't it?
Definitely. It's always a fantastic way to end the holidays on a high, the year as a whole on a high. And now I want to change my opinion. I want to say Duda and MVL to cause some shocks in Qatar.
And we talked about who our favorites were, but are there any big outsiders that you could imagine doing well here, Aryan, that can really be challenging for the title? I mean, I'd say that even though we've seen Keimer perform in the past, it's still a bit an outsider. Neiman winning, it's also a bit of an outsider, but who's your long shot?
Maybe I'll say Pranav, the guy that knocked me out of the World Cup. He's known to be a very good Rapid and Blitz player as well. He's definitely not considered to be one of the favorites, but he's a strong Grandmaster, World Junior Champion, and very up and coming.
Do you think Nihal Sarin is a name that could be put in the outsider list for the Blitz? I don't think he's going to do it in Rapid, but at least for the Blitz.
Yeah, I think Rapid may be a long shot. I think in the Blitz, he might need a few things to go his way. He'll need to start very, very strong. I think if he starts well, he's got a chance, but coming from behind, I'm not sure he'll be able to take those risks and catch the likes of Magnus. I would love to see it, though.
I have a really boring outsider pick.
Okay.
One who would never have been considered an outsider, but for some reason is kind of fallen behind his countryman right now. Abdesatorov. I mean, he's still one of those guys that we expect to perform here, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's such a great player, and he knows what it takes to win a world championship title. So he's definitely an outsider. And I also think we might see some good performances from the young Turkish players. And I hope Faustino Oro does well also.
It's going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to this. After the World Rapid and Blitz is over, obviously it's going to be more Title Tuesday. And how fun has this become, David? Just being able to week in and week out know that at 5 o'clock Central European time, 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern American time, 4 o'clock on British time for you, we can always watch top chess.
I mean, I like it. Like, the one thing that is always missing for a professional chess player is routine and stability. Like, often players, they're jetting across the world, they're always on a plane, they never know when a tournament's starting. But here, they know Title Tuesday. It's become a staple of their diary, and it's the same for me. It's kind of nice to have something to look forward to throughout the week, and over the weekend being like, okay, it's coming up.
And I got to ask, I mean, I know it's a little bit difficult now because we have the the anti-cheating implementations that have been made and such, but I'm still looking forward to the day when we get to have you play as well as commentate on this, David.
I mean, if you can set me up here with Proctor, I'll just chill, you know, in my knitted jumpers. And
yeah, we would have to hide the screens, though. That's the problem.
You can hide the screens. I'll play in the dark. I'll do anything. I'll do anything. One day.
Looking forward to that, guys. Aryan, are you going to play Title Tuesdays in the weeks to come?
I mean, if I'm available, I'll probably play. It's a very fun tournament. I've been playing for many years, since like 2017, 2018 probably. However, yeah, this season I just haven't got to play much, but I hope to play more in January.
And shall we also check one last thing? I got how Witty Alien ended up doing. If you could check that for us and how he did in the last game, because I just want to do a little bit of a shout out. I love when the players actually come here just to join on this stream, just to be part of the take experience. And that's something we really want to try to build upon. And this is Witty Alien still doing the streaming. For those who haven't seen his stream, I recommend checking it out because it is entertaining. He really brings the entertainment aspect of chess into it, Askild.
Yeah, I really like him. I got to meet him in South Africa recently. He's such a charismatic guy, and I think we all at heart love romantic chess, you know, the romantic era of chess, and too many, you know, computer players these days remembering opening lines and so on. So I think it's refreshing to have a player like him going back to the romantic era of chess.
I love it. He's like the anti-me. Like, I'm just grind, long end games. He's like, no, bang, checkmate. And
exactly.
It's really, like you said, refreshing. That's the key word. It's a throwback.
Also, he plays with so much energy and so enthusiastic. So really definition of a chess lover.
By the way, we've been through so many puns here. I mean, with the whole Christmas theme going on today, what was your favorite here? I mean, I know a lot of people wanted Anna Rudolph to be a commentator here. She was not on, but I mean, what was your favorite one that came out of the day, David? Internal competition. By the way, you look great in that Norwegian Christmas sweater.
Thank you. I'll go for MV Elf, just because I played it. And
Any good ones for you, Aryan?
Abdesatorov.
Yeah, both made by David Howell. As usual, the Brit has the best witty, dry humor. Who would have thought, huh? Askild, any plans for chess for Christmas?
Yeah, I'm going to follow the World Rapid and Blitz. I'm going to enjoy watching and hope to see my friend Magnus do well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I hope you guys are looking forward to it as well, that you take this time in the Christmas to, first of all, have a wonderful holiday, regardless if Christmas is something you celebrate. Take this time and be good to each other, and also that you get to enjoy the chess from Doha with the World Rapid and Blitz. We'll be back soon for more Title Tuesday, where we're going to keep battling between the best players in the world. And until then, have a Merry Christmas.
Here we go.